What's up, everybody? Welcome to Wither and Bloom Studios. My name is Todd, and we are here for Session 0, Part 2.
2, baby.
So, welcome. It's good to see you all. And I'm glad to be back two weeks in a row.
Yeah.
Which is the first time we've done that in a while.
It's been a while.
It feels good. It feels good. So you might notice that our interface is a little bit different tonight. So we've got some things going on, which I'm excited about, but they're all still in development. So be prepared for some hiccups along the way. Which is fine. That's how we kind of learn. Tonight, Saturn is going to be working diligently on sort of enhancing everything that's all around us right now, including that big screen over there that you see on the one side, which currently we have set up on just a general studio cam. But we'll get that going. So tonight's goals are many. We are going to be actually working on some mini painting. We are going to be talking about backstory. We are going to be developing all kinds of stuff in terms of why you've been in this town, a little bit more about the town, backstory, all kinds of stuff. You'll get to see some character sheets tonight too as well, which is kind of awesome. Eric is actually currently running our moving studio cam, which is kind of cool. So kind of an exciting night coming up. Couple of announcements before we get started. As you probably know, we have a book club at Wither and Bloom Studios called The Guild. And for a while there, we were reading The Hobbit, and we read The Hobbit in 3 parts. And we had breakfast on Sunday morning, and then we'd come down here to the studio and we would talk about, everything that we kind of learned about the book, which was great. Now we have moved on. We are now reading C.S. Lewis's Till We Have Faces, which is a sort of retelling of the story of Psyche and Cupid, or Psyche and Eros. And let's see, how far into this am I? I am 221 pages in, and this thing, it is phenomenal. I cannot put it down.
Can't stop reading it.
I should be doing other things, but I'm in the middle of this book, which I love.
I was finishing another book, so I only just started this weekend.
What were you reading?
I was reading a book that I read, well, I can't say I read in high school because I fucking hated English class. And needless to say, I took this English class twice. So there was 2 times I could have read it. It was Lords of Discipline by Pat Conroy.
Okay.
It's about a military institute, and it's got a lot of hazing and growing up and stuff like that, like coming of age kind of story.
Nice.
And, I had read and spark noted it through my high school career. And I decided to actually sit down, fully read the thing. So.
Nice.
Let's finish that up.
All right, good. Good. Yeah, well, we will be doing the Guild middle of September. We will be having that meeting. If you want, you can go to our website, witherandbloomstudios.com, to check up on when that will be available, like when we're actually going to live stream that. But if you want, grab a copy of Till We Have Faces by C.S. Lewis and read along with us. We're going to read this whole thing in one shot, so the discussion will be total. So join us for that. 2. If you have not yet subscribed to our channel, please do so. Like and subscribe, as always. And that's pretty much it. I don't have many other announcements. Addie, do you have any announcements?
Well, I mean...
Not to put you on the spot or anything.
Oh, no, you're good. I mean, nothing super massive. I mean, we're not doing the pre-game bits for Session 0, which is normal. So, I hope you enjoy the Session 0. I mean, on a more, personal-ish note, I launched my professional actor TikTok today, which I'm also incorporating as a ttrpg card game, board game, Lego
I like
content creation engine.
Oh, nice.
So, and I'm probably going to be talking about the show on that account. So if you want in on that, follow Mocking Finch on TikTok. All lowercase with the I in Finch is a Y.
Mocking Finch.
So it's just Mocking Finch with a Y. So
I love that.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Cool. All right, Mocking Finch on TikTok?
Yeah.
All right, I'm in. Sweet. Nice. Anybody else? Announcements? Thoughts?
Nah. Old, tired,
Yes.
joints hurt, kind of stuff.
fucking hot and
Get to the
humid.
Excited
get to
to
the
be here.
CoQ10 in a hot tub. And,
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly.
All right. Cool. Let's see. Rabbit is here. Good to see you, Rabbit. I'm just looking to see. Music feels a touch loud. Yeah, I know. Sorry about that. I thought I had a good playlist picked out for tonight, but then it just went to this crappy. Hang on a minute.
Oh, never mind.
I'm
I
gonna,
got
I'm gonna change it. I'm gonna get that out of there because I didn't like that. Let's try this.
Get that cat out of here.
Get it out. All right, so let's talk a little bit about tonight. I'll do a little recap of last week, first of all. So last week I thought was a very good session 0. We are playing Dungeons & Dragons this time around. We're going to be blending it up a little bit between rules of 5e and the 5.5. We decided on we were going to be using our critical strike table that we roll on when we have a crit. We're going to be using some house rules, basically. I'm not going to go through all of them right now. I thought one of the highlights of last week was that we sort of collaboratively built, through a design process, the town of Pepperwick, which by just introducing the name as a writing prompt, we wrote the town to a lesser degree, which was kind of nice. So this week we're going to fill that out a little bit more, but we had some ideas about Pepperwick. Like, first of all, who was it that described coming around the mountain? Was that you,
I think
Adam?
that might have been me.
Yeah, you were describing how, what do we see
Oh, yeah.
when we come around the mountain pass on a road when we see Pepperwick in the valley? And we talked about a lake with 2 islands with geysers and how those things kind of led to certain sections underground. We talked about there being a fishing guild, their bioluminescence in the geysers, like all kinds of really cool stuff. So I still have to write my description based on everything that we've kind of pooled together, but we've got some really, really fantastic details around Pepperwick so far.
Yeah. That was absolutely a...
Sorry to break that immersion, but can I ask a really quick painting question?
Yeah.
So I have this little thing. It's called Lead Belcher, and it says base on it.
Mm-hmm.
Is that like a base coat? Do I just cover the whole thing in that? And then...
In that color specific area, I would. Yes.
Okay. Nifty. Cool. Thanks.
Yeah. Yeah, I was about to pull a big old, I'm not sure
Awesome.
on the answer to that. But
Love it.
Oh,
Garrett-
I mean,
Garrett's
I
got
have the
us.
same exact pot over here.
Oh, seriously?
And if I'm going to be using a silver area, I'm going to be running with that.
Amazing, amazing.
Yeah, Citadel has base, like technical and like
Yeah.
shading and stuff. Like that's how they label theirs.
Awesome.
So yes, I would say that is the major color.
So one thing we're going to be able to do tonight is cut to little cameras that are in front of what everybody's painting. So I went ahead. So here's how we work things here at our studio. When our players make characters, we have them go into Hero Forge, design the characters in Hero Forge, but rather than waiting for the thing to get printed and sent, which is really expensive, they just download the STL file, and then where I work, I have a resin printer, and I go in and I print them, and then I bring them home and I give them a quick coat of primer, and then we paint them here. So do we want to cycle through the cameras and see if we can't get everybody a quick view of the started minis before we've painted them yet? So Eric, can we go on to Eric?
yeah, here's my painty zone.
So Eric, you have a Dragonborn druid?
Yes.
So it's going to get a lot of detail in a little while. Like, it'll be better than that. It's hard to see when it's all black, right?
Let me go to a tighter...
Yeah. Bring it in
Tighter
tight,
look.
baby.
Come in tighter.
And then... Is that working a
Oh, that's
little
pretty
better?
good. Yeah, that looks great. I like your stone base
Thank you.
and your pole. Is that
That's a
your staff?
quarterstaff.
Quarterstaff?
And a little sickle on the back there.
Oh, I saw that. I love the sickle on the back.
Yeah. I'm excited about that.
Nice. Cool. Garrett, you want to try and see if we can get
yeah.
yours on
Okay.
cam?
Give me
1 second.
Okay.
I'm dosing out paint over here. There we go. My camera's a little...
Yeah, your camera's a little bit different, so it's going to be harder to get that tighter view.
You want to switch back to Eric, and Eric can just show
I'll
it a
give you
little...
the show and tell on the...
Here. I'm
Tighter.
going to pass it over to Eric's camera.
Okay.
Eric's got a much better up close and
Oh, that
personal.
looks great.
Yeah, look at that.
So you got a dwarf cleric, right?
Dwarf cleric.
The shield looks mighty. I
Yup.
like the detail in the shield.
Mm-hmm.
Looks really good.
Yeah.
Nice. I'm looking forward to seeing you paint that one up. That's going to be great.
I love this holder thing. So good. It's also totally dyslexic. Watching this on the monitor and trying to spin it.
I was trying to do that with my camera.
I'm
I'm
like,
trying to watch the monitor.
My brain
and I'm like-
hurts.
It's like, understanding how people do everything in mirrors. Like,
Oh, forget it. Yeah, no
just
way.
like,
Not possible for me.
yeah.
Nice. Can we do Addie's too?
Sure.
Addie, any chance you could pass yours? Because I didn't do the focus marks on your ring, but if you pass yours over to your dad, is there any chance you could... Oh, wait a minute.
looks-
Never
this
mind.
looks
That looks
okay.
good. Yeah.
So Brune, the Earth Genasi paladin, I just started giving a little attention to the sword with some of that lead belcher. I like that darker silver. I didn't want it to be too bright. And I started putting a little love on the center of her buckler. So yeah,
Beautiful. Beautiful.
I didn't. It's something to note is that I didn't color Brune in Hero Forge before I sent you the STL. So we're discovering their color scheme in real time.
Nice.
Which is very exciting.
Yeah, that's awesome. Beauty. Cool. Yeah, so we'll be able to pop back and forth and check in on your progress as we go.
Love it.
As for me, I don't have a detail camera over here, nor will I be painting minis tonight because that would give away what some of the adversaries are. However, I am going to start to lock in while I'm here working on the map of Afari, and I also did a whole bunch of detail work on the map of Emberfell. So one of the things I love about doing my maps is, and it's going to be really hard to see on here, but as I evolve maps, you'll see that I will go in and I will paste in certain areas of layered paper. It's kind of hard to see, but this map is just chock full of areas that have been glued over and then redrawn. Like you can see it here. And so I'm digging in a little bit on the Emberfell map, and then of course on the Afari map, which is very raw still. We don't have a whole lot of detail on the Afari map. Things are starting to come in a little bit tighter on that map. So I'm going to work on this, and we're also going to talk about Pepperwick. We're going to talk about connections. We're going to talk about backstory. Saturn, you want to just show some character sheets while we're here so everybody can kind of get a sense of where we're at so far with character sheets? So we got some D&D Beyond character sheets. So, Garrett, what's your character's name again?
Baradin.
Baradin.
Yeah.
Baradin.
Burden.
We have to get in there and change the D&D Beyond character name. But you can see some stats
did.
there.
Did not update?
Oh, wait. We're going to
Yes.
see if we can update it now. It'll take a second.
Maybe
Yeah,
because
we'll go
it's
to-
not.
We'll run over
100%.
to Eric's character sheet. And what Eric, you're pretty well filled out on the character sheet, it looks like.
Yeah, there's like backstory and stuff like that that I haven't. Yeah. Do we have homework this weekend, teacher?
There's always homework.
Yeah.
I think you're dropping music a smidge.
Yeah. So, Smog is my short name, otherwise known as Drakon Smogus. But my friends call me Smog. Smog.
Lovely titles.
Nice. Oh, and looks like Garrett's updated with Baradin on there.
Aha. It did work.
Nice. Cool. Let's pop over to Addie's. Addie, the color scheme on your character sheet looks so sick.
Right? I was
freaking
like,
love it.
I did that the other day, and I was like,
I
oh my
haven't
god!
I know. I switched you to dark mode. I hope that's okay.
Oh yeah, that's
Just
I
for the sake of
literally
the-
haven't
Yeah.
even done anything
I think
in D&D Beyond. I'm slacking.
I want to say the the background on my character sheet is somehow related to the One Ring system or like the 5e Lord of the Rings thing. I don't know how I have that or got that.
Maybe it
but
was just it knew you were collecting the cards.
maybe yeah.
Nice.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm really really happy with how they turned out.
Sweet.
All right, I totally regret not bringing my light because I can't see shit.
Yeah, I'm with you on that, buddy.
Well, we could start off by just digging in a little bit on Pepperwick and starting to develop a narrative around Pepperwick.
Yeah.
We had it as a the governing body of Pepperwick. We decided was a council of elders. Someone had mentioned they were called the Hard Lung Council, probably because of the fact that. So let's back up a little bit, right? We actually went back in history pretty far on Pepperwick, because as far as Afari goes as a continent, over 100 years ago, we had a complete desolation of the continent because of some of the lore behind the heart of the Vassarine and things getting moved. We don't have to go too deep into that. But during that time, ecologically speaking, things died off. And so Pepperwick became a mining town. And we remember talking about how Pepperwick, because of the tone and the sound of the name of Pepperwick, we went into things like saltpeter and charcoal and gunpowder. Eric. So we kind of talked about how the Elder Council, called the Hard Lung Council, was a throwback to the times when the miners in the town were, they suffered. So that's an interesting thought to me. But we've got that as sort of a basis. The town has grown out of that. We have had a rebirth, right?
Yeah.
Things have come back. We now have orchards. We have produce. We have an agrarian society. So we also have a fishing guild. We've got a new bioluminescence. Like, things are healthy again. Now, one thing you had requested was some kind of lush market or bazaar.
That was me.
That was you. So,
Likes a good food shop.
Well, it's not necessarily that. The main reason for that is tied mainly to my character. And I am coming into this campaign as a farmer in this town. And I have a farm on the outskirts of town. So I want to be part of this market community.
and do you think that, like, maybe you have a stall there
Yeah.
where you are a regular seller of your produce? I'm trying to get my pencils at work here. Have you lived here all your life?
No.
You have not.
I would say I have been here few years. I didn't lock that down with a dead number, but definitely not my whole life. I did not grow up here. I was... I don't know how in-depth we want to get on stuff.
Well, I'm guessing you don't have all the details yet, correct?
I don't have all the details, but I have Spark Notes.
Spark notes are good. We can develop a
Ideas.
lot from that. Addie and I developed entire scenarios with whole cultures just based on spitballing.
So here's my thing. So I did not grow up here in Pepperwick. I'm now a farmer, and I would say where I did grow up, which I have not 100% decided on the town or whatnot. Todd, you and I are going to work on that. But somewhere on the continent of Afari. And I used to do a lot more forge work. That's what I grew up learning. Forge, blacksmithing, mining per se. And then what I went with, and this came from working with the Session Zero system, is, I believe it was grit. I don't have my notes in front of me. But it was something happened and I had to adapt. And my hometown was in dire need of people that could farm. And I learned the ways of farming in harsh environments when I was growing up. And I kind of leaned more towards farming over the forge.
You know, it was grit. I just looked it up as a.
So
That was your legacy. No, sorry.
It
was your legacy. It was grit. And so I'm curious because your hometown was in dire need of farmers.
Yes.
And you're a dwarf. You used to mine and forge, but you gave up something that was a cultural tradition, an ancestral tradition, to help the people of your town.
Yeah.
So this shows a really strong bond with the place you were raised.
Yeah. Yeah. And then what I would say kind of got me towards Pepperwick is visions. I started having dreams, visions. And honestly, what I've worked at so far is, we talked about this in the original Session Zero, is I am a distant ancestor. Haven't figured out the actual lineage of Thrud from a previous campaign. And Thrud is actually who came to me in my visions, I believe. And because of this pilgrimage, this journey that people go on of the heart of the Vasserine, I was kind of pushed towards going on this journey. So eventually, I left my hometown.
Well, what I love about that is Thrud in the former campaign was also haunted with prophetic dreams, right? So it makes total sense that in Thrud's afterlife, we don't even know if Thrud is in an afterlife. Yeah. We haven't decided yet whether Thrud is still alive or not.
Entirely possible, but the mystery is kind of nice.
And the other thing that I was kind of thinking or cooking on is I'm being kind of pushed towards the path of a cleric, you know? I didn't grow up in the, holy church or what say you. These visions are kind of pushing me towards it. I was almost thinking that, I don't know if it's Thrud that's giving me these visions. It could be the deity that is pushing me on this path,
Well,
and using
Thrud was a cleric.
Yes.
Yeah. And
yes. So like kind of this circle.
Yeah.
So
I think there's a really interesting intertwining there. Not knowing whether or not Thrud is still alive is also very interesting, because let's say Thrud is still alive. Thrud would be a much higher level than Thrud ever was, and so we could assume that Thrud had learned through their deity.
Crotchety old bag.
Through her deity, she might be able to actually communicate, right? She might be able to send messages across dream planes.
Thrud's got a fucking Cerebro basement.
She sits in her sphere.
I would not put it past Thrud to construct something like that and forge it. Especially being the connection that she had with utilizing or understanding things via the dream world, but also I think her connection to Lordorite and the mystical and that aspect of things, I think would definitely, she'd be all about building some shit like that for sure.
So yeah, I'm really starting to like these connections. So back to Bear, can we call it's Bearden?
It's gonna be Bear for short.
Bear for short.
For acquaintances.
Yeah.
Friendly.
So what are Bear's pronouns?
He.
Him. Okay,
yeah.
So his connection. So we can see Bear as this. I want to say there's obviously a level of dedication. There's obviously a kind of ancestral dedication. There is also, though, this hinting at a kind of evolving as a human being, as a listening to the voices within, listening to the dreams that this Thrud is coming to you with. I don't know whether Thrud functions as like a matronly like figure or, maybe somebody godlike.
Yeah.
But I'm really interested in this, as a level 1 character, and already this deep connection to ancestry and this development. I like the potential.
Uh-huh.
I like that you're listening.
This kind of went into my second thing, which is bond.
Your bond
Which
was
is guide.
Guide, yes.
And that is these visions. That is these things that are coming to me. Kind of the push, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, I haven't worked it out 100%, but I started on the journey of this pilgrimage to, try and connect with my ancestors or the path that Thrud might have taken. That's kind of what this pilgrimage is all about.
Mm.
And in the visions, something led me to Pepperwick. And I've stayed here. Technically, my third thing in the was a shrine appears.
Yes.
And
Was that the catalyst?
That was the catalyst.
Yeah.
That appeared in Pepperwick. Haven't 100. I want to work with you on that or whatever.
Yeah.
As to what that shrine might have been, but I'm thinking visions pushing me to this town, and now I'm kind of just.
I would say a good place to start, just a prompt to get you started on that, is there might have been an image of a symbol or some kind of relic in the dream.
Yes.
That maybe you saw with Thrud, and
Yes.
you saw this thing
Yeah.
in Pepperwick, and
Yeah.
that's what caused you to stop, was the connection to that.
Yeah, no, that's what I've been kind of thinking.
Okay.
Ooh. I had a... So...
Ooh.
Because we were talking about, like, magic items and Lordorite and the Lordorite alloy with Malks.
Mm-hmm.
And how that in and of itself is such a unique toy for a player character to have, because it's kind of like almost like a Valyrian steel kind of artifact in a way, where it's only malleable and workable under very specific circumstances. The techniques for working it are a very closely guarded secret.
Right.
So during the campaign where you were playing as Thrud, there were so many moments of like, I want to make this new thing that doesn't fully have a stat to it, but it's a really cool idea. What if one of these symbols was one of Thrud's inventions that either we saw in the game or that she came up with later in life? Like that throwing star, or probably not Tyr, the axe, because Thrud would have that with her probably up until the end. But I don't know, I like the idea of there is this ancestral tool or weapon that is waiting for Bear.
Yeah, I like this idea that, how we have, the periodic table of the elements, for example. We have very obvious icons or symbols for certain types of, elements or what have you. What if Lordorite or Malks has an iconic symbol associated with it that is basically like, we understand that to be this rare metal? And it could even be a brand, as in like a burned-in brand, not like branding, but a brand that is only given to someone who has mastered the ability to utilize that,
Right.
to smelt that or to work that. And there's very few people who have it. You would have had it, obviously, as Thrud, right? But
I think also, Ivaldi's Valkyries would those folks that we talked about, you and I, but we never really fleshed this concept out tremendously. Like, we did have some of them come forth in the game, and my thought around that was always that there was this ancestral tribe that was a group of women that could forge, and they were working on underground network of connected forges that fed into each other.
Maybe that's the symbol. Maybe it's the unifying symbol of these women that were able to, forge connected through the network of forges, and they held the secret to that.
Yeah. It could also have, also thinking about Lordorite being of the moon, maybe there's some kind of a aspect of the moon, the phase of the moon in that. And what Thrud was really looking for was trying to figure out a way to forge with Lordorite and Malks and create a new ally. So she was really looking to come up with that Valerian steel, essentially, that was like very dense, very lightweight, but extremely strong. So by melding both of those properties of those two different ores, she was thinking into that. So I would say that since we're 100 years later, that technology would have definitely come up a little bit more, been a little more refined through that network of all these Valkyries.
But it could also be interesting if, in its rarity, right, and with the changing of everything now that the heart has been put back in its rightful place, economies shift, focuses shift, armies sort of dissipate or fall apart. And I'm not saying it went away,
Right.
but maybe the focus on it isn't as heavy, right?
Right.
And what if Bear's destiny, to some degree, is to help to, I don't know what the pilgrimage is for or why Bear stopped in Pepperwick, but maybe one of these forges is in Pepperwick from the days of back when.
Well, interestingly enough, one of the things that I was thinking about with Smog was that I still haven't quite gotten into how Smog came into Pepperwick itself. But
Well, let's talk about that.
okay.
So you're in there. What's your gut feeling tell you? How long have you been there? Like, you're a druid, so you're probably a native of Afari, I'll assume.
Yeah. How long have I been there? I mean, long enough to establish some roots. And I think that Smog might have had more of a background as a smith originally, much like Bear. But in moving out into Pepperwick, into this countryside, there was more of the connection with nature that kind of flourished there. Like something about Pepperwick brought that out of Smog. So that's when they really started developing themselves in the druidic arts and figuring things out that way. Having more of a connection with nature and the elements. And the one thing that I was thinking about a lot was one of the old forges in Pepperwick, which I really love the idea of being one of the network within. That I think would be amazing. So one of the reasons why I was thinking that Smog's been there for a bit is that the vision that I have around this forge is it's subterranean, so that keys in very nicely with of all these Valkyrie. But also it's very draconic in nature. They've had some time to smith Bilko doors to the entrance of this, so that it's basically like the entrance is very cave-like. It's very, for lack of a better phraseology, hobbit hole-ish, but instead of a circular door, it's more of a Bilko door that are two dragon wings that kind of fold out. So when Smog is open and available to work, the wings are open out in the hillside, so people can then enter into the forge and close it down. The wings are closed tight.
This tells me you did not arrive here a year ago?
No, I've
You've
been
been here a
I've been
while.
here for a while. I would
Yeah.
say probably close to like 10 to 15 years.
Okay. Okay.
You know, like a bit of the part of the community. Let's say 10 years. So not overly entrenched, but enough to be.
Well, just like any rebirth where economies are shifting and things are coming back, there's a lot of movement associated with that. People are going to redefine what they're about. Their families that they probably came from held on after the rebirth from what was left over and what they were raised in during the sunset period when things had been obliterated.
Yeah.
But now, generationally speaking, you're probably at that point where now things are moving. And so it makes sense that you would have been here for about 10 years as you sort of start to figure things out. So we've got this subterranean forge. We've got this hole with these dragon wing Bilko doors that open up. What do you do? Like, what's your whole, like, you're talking about the druidic arts. You're talking about this kind of getting closer back to nature. There's this underground forge. I did notice on your character sheet you chose animal handling as a skill.
Yeah.
So there's something there, right? And I'm not putting you on the spot here. You might not know what you do, but we could figure it out. Like, what role does 10 years in a town like Pepperwick, it's evolving. What kind of a role does that give to someone like you?
That is a phenomenal question. My gut is that coming in and focusing on finding this forge and creating it and working on it, and there was a comfort level, so that would make sense to be there. And initially, for the first couple of years that I was there, working on that. But I think after a few years of that, there were some questions that Smog needed to answer for themselves, and part of that was about not being so connected and rooted in that fire and that forge and that work ethic, but also being able to start to venture out a little bit and see how, nature had always had a bit of an influence in what their aesthetic was, in terms of what they would forge. But
Can I cook for a second with
Yeah,
you?
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
Cook.
because we were talking earlier about how rising from the ashes, right? How the rebirth was kind of like a rising from the ashes of the sunset, and how there was desolation of the continent of Afari.
yeah,
And you're a druid, but you're also a dragonborn, right? And you're talking about forges and fire, right? And at the same time, you're talking about nature. Well, when we have controlled forest fire burns, it's to stimulate new growth.
right.
And so it's possible your whole identity as a druid, but one that is interested in the forges of wherever, whether it's the Vivaldi's Valkyries or whether it's something else, maybe has to do with this notion of rebirth and how that promotes a kind of, a spark of nature. Maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just,
No,
that's what comes to mind.
I 100% agree with that and totally vibe on that, because that was, I think, what was drawing me to the wildfire subclass and trying to.
Oh, that's right, though. Yeah.
I mean, I'm obviously not there yet, but thinking about that.
Okay.
Yeah, I definitely feel like that need for cleansing by fire, rebirth out of ashes kind of thing. I don't know that initially Zmog would have known too much about Vivaldi's Valkyrie. I think it might have just been that, like, in this desire to leave whatever their original place was, whatever it was that brought them to Pepperwick, I think it was a drawing to being in a more rural, agrarian kind of area, but still someplace that had some connections to manufacturing and technology.
Okay.
Yeah, so I think that there was probably some discoveries made once they kind of moved into that forge. I mean, I'm assuming that Pepperwick would most likely have a number of forges in it, right?
Yeah, it would, because of the way it functioned beforehand.
Yeah.
This is possibly, especially given your connections to Thrud from earlier campaigns, Thrud's connection to Bear's character and Garrett, it's very possible that whatever your bonds are together as two characters in this town, it's very possible that this is an avenue of real potential for both of you to kind of play through and develop.
Right. I mean, I kind of envision this like as being not the centermost forge of the town. Like, originally it was kind of busted, you know, like it was off the beaten path. It's kind of in the nook of the mountain and the crotch of rock. Yeah, I said crotch. So, you know, I don't think it was something like, it wouldn't have been center of town, like the most.
Yeah.
It was like dilapidated somehow when Zmog came into it, you know, and which was why it was available for Zmog to come in and kind of rework the doors and kind of take it over. And then I think somehow within that, maybe there's a discovery made deep in the back of that forge that there is that connection too.
I forget, when we talked about Pepperwick, did we say that they were still engaged in mining as a side thing as well as...
I think there's still...
That's what...
Okay.
Because there was the festival that was related to the pilgrimage, so there was this element of tourism in Pepperwick portion of the year, but there was also the fallback of the mining operation. You know, and there was still somewhat of a market for, you know, the explosive characteristics of Pepperwick from years old.
Okay, good. Well, keep grinding on that while you're painting and
Yeah.
thinking about your character, because I want to like push this a little bit further and maybe have some discovery moments between you and, you know, the other characters as well. Addie,
Yeah.
let's talk about Brune.
Yes, let's. I'm finishing her sword right now.
Nice.
Yeah.
So, what do you feel is, what's your gut tell you about Brune's existence in Pepperwick?
So, I think contrary to these other two bozos here, Brune has not been in town very long.
Okay.
I think that they're without a doubt more of an outsider. I think because we talked a little bit last week about Brune's heritage and the idea that they were sculpted by this like woodland witch kind of entity, and I think in losing a mentor figure like that, it's really easy to want to distance yourself from that mentor's craft. So I think, yes, Brune has a lot of experience around herbalism and around working the earth, working the herbs. She's got that proficiency with the healer's kit and the herbalism kit. But I think that the paladin aspect of being this stocky, purely a warrior, comes from a roughly year-long desire to just other herself from their created identity, or the identity that they came into this world with.
Mm-hmm.
I like the idea that Brune was created out of a pure desire to just have someone that you can share your love of life with, and to be the creation losing the creator. I don't know, I feel like there's something profound in that.
What do you think the creator was, do we have a name?
I actually don't.
Okay. The creator we're calling your mother.
Yeah.
Okay. So your mother, what do you think your mother would have wanted for her creation after she was gone? we'll assume she assumed
Yeah.
that her creation would outlive her.
Yeah. I think I really resonate with the idea of like your purpose in life is to find your purpose. And I think Brune's mother, especially given the avenue of being an outcast, being one of the Molvok people, come above ground, was almost restrained in her pensive exile. It wasn't that she was tied to one location specifically, but there was one location that she could never go back to, and in roaming, risked being in the vicinity of that place again. I think that Brune's mother wanted to bring somebody into the world who could roam in such a way that she couldn't.
So you're more, then in response to that, you have a more nomadic kind of existence, which is why you're new to Pepperwick, because
Yeah.
you've kind of been on the...
I think so.
Okay.
And I don't think that Brune's been on the road very long, is the thing. Because I still kind of want that loss and that grieving state to be present in how I play the character. Because I think that's a much more interesting starting point for a character at level 1 than, all right, parent figure died however many years ago and I've been just kind of wandering ever since. It's like, all right, I want there to be a sense that they're running from something. And I think blacksmithing, a art that is of the earth but so far removed from this kind of green and earthen practice of that kind of witchcraft is a really interesting idea.
So we've got 3 characters tied to forging.
Yes, but the thing about Brune is that they're not good at it at all.
That's okay.
Because I love this idea of like, yes, we've got 2/3 of the table is like so ingrained in this metalworking and this creation and this art of making something so resilient and hard, something malleable, and turning it into another beautiful and deadly thing. I think that's really awesome, and I think Brune thinks that too. But for whatever reason, she just can't crack it.
So what, for Brune, if you say this grieving state, this state of loss, and wandering is running from something,
Yeah.
what would it look like for Brune to find the thing they're looking for, even though they might not know what they're looking for? What's a possibility they could encounter something? What would that be that would make them feel like fulfilled?
I think,
If you don't know the answer to that, I would say that's a question
yeah.
that let's cycle that. But what do you think?
Because, I mean, honestly, that was kind of where I was going, was that I don't know what that end of the story point looks like for her. And I don't think that they do either.
Well, you did say your purpose in life
Is to find your purpose.
is to find your purpose. So I don't think finding your purpose necessarily has to come as this grand epiphany.
Yeah.
It could come as a series of small discoveries that
Yeah.
add into something. So maybe start to think about how Brune either builds that or finds it all at once and then dives into it and pursues it.
I like that.
Cool.
That's cool.
Yeah, no, I love that so far. Okay, so you're new to town.
Yeah.
We have Zmog with a decade in town, and you're probably 3 to 5 years.
Yeah, ish. Yeah.
Just
3
enough
to 5
time to
years.
get an established mini farm,
Yeah,
set yourself up as a vendor in the bazaar. Okay.
yeah. I think Like that.
How the figures coming along?
Working.
Pretty okay.
Working.
I'm looking at the chat right now. Eric is like, "You're gonna make me buy paint again."
I was laughing at that interaction.
Every
thought that
8
was
years or
good.
so, I buy, I paint, I despair, I throw away. Yeah, we call that the creative practice. Eric, I find that in any given creative practice, when one gets to about this, Eric, correct me if I'm wrong here, but when you get to about the 60 to 75, 80% done phase, that is when it's at its worst.
Yeah.
And it's getting over that hump without the throwing away. That is the trick to getting anything done. I mean,
Yeah, for sure. I mean, there's that moment of like, what am I doing with this piece of garbage?
yeah, why am I bothering with this?
Who cares?
Who cares?
Who's gonna give a fuck about this thing?
Can confirm.
Like, I took vacation time about a week ago and had this wooden chunk of flat that we had used for an installation somewhere. So it was like a piece of luan on some plywood framing, and it's like 2 foot by 4 foot. So I was like, I'm just gonna paint. Fuck it. So I just got some latex out and took an old towel and ripped it up and just started like working on just a background field. I spent like a couple hours on it, and it was just like, I'm like starting to make things in it and see stuff in it, and then kind of getting rid of that and dripping shit on it, and it's like going full blown stream of consciousness, Pollocky kind of
Yeah.
background field. Who gives a fuck? I don't know what I'm gonna paint on this thing, right? And I'm like working it, and then I like put it up like off the table, and tilted it up and leaned it up against the wall on the table, and I'm looking at it, and I'm like, there's this big purple phallus on this thing. And I'm like,
Of course, that's what you
subconsciously, I just painted a big cock and balls.
Of course you would. There it is.
So, you know, what do I got on my brain? Who the hell knows?
I love it.
But I'm at that point. I stopped it at that point of like, God, this is terrible.
68% you're done.
Yeah, I'm like, oh my God. I don't
The
know if I can
despair.
get back
That's
to
the
this.
despair.
There was a lot of
That's about-
despair at that point. Yeah.
I find that I go all out when I buy paints. I go not all out, but I'll buy like, I don't buy the whole sets because they're more than I'm going to use and they're very expensive. But I might buy, I don't know, 15 bottles of paint in one shot. And I'll be like, yes, this is the palette I want to work with. So I go home with my 15 bottles of paint. I put the little ball bearings in them so they mix nicely, and I get all ready, and I paint like 3 or 4 minis. And then I'm like, okay, good, I'm done. That was a great session, and I put it away. And then the next time I take it out, all the paints are dried up because I haven't taken it out in so bloody long. That's not entirely true. Like, a lot of my paints have lasted a while, but I have a very good sized box of mini paints that are just rocks. They're done. So I'm curious in the chat, if you paint minis, what do you use for paint? Like, what's your go-to brand of paint? Are you Citadel? Are you Army Painter? Are you AK? Are you probably leaving out 2 or 3 brands there? But what do you like to use? Is there loyalty there? Do you have stuff you go to? What's your go-to? I want to find something new. I like the AK stuff lately, but I've seen some new ones out there. Hattie, yours is looking cool.
Just got done with the little shoulder fur moment.
Oh yeah, you've got like the pauldrons that are made of fur.
Yeah.
Very
So I'll finish up the shield next, and then hit the cloak. And then the thing that's tripping me out the most is I don't know what I'm gonna do for the chainmail. But I picked what I picked in Hero Forge, kind of loosely thinking about that like fishing guild scale mail thing
Yeah.
that we talked about last week.
Yeah.
I just don't know if I see Brune as a fisher.
Well,
Who knows? Maybe she bought a set.
I was gonna say she could have easily admired a set
Yeah, and
and
bought it.
bought it.
I think that's probably a good way of thinking to go about it.
speaking of chainmail, I finished my bag,
I have not.
and I have dice in the bag now.
Like, that's so cool.
It actually, I was really happy
Ooh, I
with
like
how
that.
the dice are visible through the chainmail. So Addie and I both took a chainmail making course at Gen Con, and
Yeah, it is.
the project was to make a chainmail
metal sack.
dice bag. And here, I'll pass it around if you want to see it. But it's pretty cool. Worked out pretty well.
Metal sack.
It's a hefty sack. You got
It's
there.
a hefty little sack.
That's awesome.
Not so,
kinda
so
nice.
short. It's not so good.
Half Elvin is saying
Ooh,
airbrushing
airbrushing.
minis was a game changer for me.
Ooh.
And I have to admit, I've got a little bit of envy there because I broke down a couple years ago and bought an airbrush, but I didn't buy a compressor. And so I modified a massive, like stupid large compressor for a nail gun. To
Like a
work
pancake.
like a pancake, but tubes. And it was,
There's a regulator.
well, I had the regulator, but the problem is it drove everybody in the house crazy when it came on. It was like, "Rah!" You know, it was very loud. But recently, a friend of mine just brought over an airbrush compressor and said, "You want this? I don't want it anymore."
Oh,
I'm like,
jealous.
"Yes." So now I think I'm gonna go back to doing that. So
Nice.
Half Elven, I appreciate that reminder. I got to get out my hairbrush and start doing it because it's faster, right? Like when you start to learn to control that flow, you can really,
Yeah.
you can,
Or at least for like big basing
yeah,
to get in there and shading.
yeah,
I've watched people do that, and they do like like drop shading with
Right.
the airbrush,
right.
and it's really cool.
I got to figure that out. I gotta work
I
on that.
kind of love your sack.
Yeah, let me
Just
let me
gonna say.
let me find.
Yeah.
I mean,
Get a
let me-
feel for
let
the
me
weight
get a
on
feel
that.
for it. I like that. Yeah.
Yeah, so Rabbit, to your point on the sharp edges, I think it's mostly okay because where the rings are made and cut and then joined, I mean, ideally there wouldn't be any,
Well, it's
but
pretty.
it's okay.
Pretty smooth.
I did not put any of my really good dice in that bag, so definitely not.
Here. A little lob.
Well, let's jump on another topic.
Yeah. Yeah. What are we gonna talk
For
about next?
tonight, because I've got a few more here. Hold on a minute. Let me look at my list of what we got to cover. Well, I think we really do need to establish how we all know each other. That's gonna be a complicated one. Now there is stuff in the Session Zero system for this. So for those of you that are watching fresh, we pulled out the Session Zero system, which is a gamified Session Zero by Elise Resendez, who is one of the developers of Daggerheart at Darrington Press. This is an earlier system that she put out. It's been around for a little while.
It rules.
It's really good. It comes with this really nice book, and it also has a series of cards that are able to be dealt out to establish things like legacies, bonds, and catalysts that help you develop your character. But once you've dug into that a little bit, there's this phase called the amalgam phase. And in the amalgam phase, it says the goal of the amalgam phase is to celebrate the impact of a person, place, or group of people can have on the lives of others. Here you'll build in serendipity, destiny, luck, coincidence, and inevitability by connecting backstory elements together and choosing where some paths may have already crossed. Which is, this is kind of interesting. So, we had those fragments from before. I don't know if everybody remembers what their fragments were, but I have most of them written down. And it basically says, going around the room, each player chooses one of their fragments and offers to connect it in some way to another player's fragment. So you could connect bond fragments to one another. You could have a catalyst fragment impact someone else's legacy fragment. But for example, Garrett, your legacy fragment was grit, right?
Yes.
Addie, your legacy fragment was beyond.
Yeah.
And Eric, your legacy fragment was also beyond, right?
Word.
Can I cook for a second?
Absolutely, please do.
So, when we brought up this vision symbol shrine appears or whatever, which was my catalyst, and we were talking about how this could be a symbol, and then Eric / Thrud over here was saying that the Malk's Valkyrie had a symbol, and you're now thinking about this forge that was old, and you're maybe bringing that back to life. Can I say that maybe that's what the symbol was, or the shrine or symbol was this forge, that I know that this symbol exists?
Eric, what do you think of that?
What do you think? Maybe?
Yeah, I
don't know.
I think that Bear would have more of a connection to, or an understanding through their lineage and their hereditary situation about these Valkyries, and therefore would definitely kind of share that with Smog at some point and how we come together.
Yeah, so I mean, if you've been here for 10 years, you've got this forge up and going.
Right,
You
but
said
I
these
might not
crazy
have
doors.
known its connection
Well,
to.
that's what I'm saying. You
Yeah.
might have just come here, got this forge up and going, repaired these doors, but these doors had that symbol. And maybe that's what brought me to this town, is this forge, maybe?
Yeah.
Well, did you forge the doors, though, in Dragon Wings as sort of a tribute to your heritage?
I think I did.
True.
But maybe that, I think within the time that I've been there, it would make sense that if there was some kind of logo emblem that was reminiscent from the Valdi's Valkyries, it would be deeper in that forge. It might not be as forward-facing, And
Okay.
I also kind of think that my forge would be kind of on the outskirts, closer to farmland. So that might have been how you and I kind of came into connection with each other,
Well, what I like here is that it almost is like Smog. In the forge, you see utility. You're like, let's use this thing.
Right.
Bear sees sacredness.
Yeah.
There's kind of like this sacred connection to what
There's
you're
this
seeing.
heritage.
But also in
know.
your dreams,
Yeah.
right? And Brune sees a kind of awe. Like you're like,
Yeah.
you love the idea
Like,
of what.
whoa, this is super cool.
So it's interesting to see the same thing from three completely different perspectives and build characters around that, right? Also, how those things might tie to your ability scores.
Yeah.
What's your dump? What was your dump stat? Intelligence?
I think I had like a 10 or so.
Okay.
You're going to start asking questions like that?
So, this is something that I was cooking with around Thrud. That
What the fuck is that?
that's Gullenbursti was the center forge. So my thought was that this was an underground forge that was in the shape of this giant boar.
Shit.
And inadvertently, my
remember
thought
this.
about what Smog does with their particular forge was the forge itself is kind of like a dragon curled up around itself, and the forge is in the center of that curled up, and the bellows for the forge are the wings. So when the wings are pumped, it forces air through the mouth of the dragon into the forge.
Wow.
And that was something that Smog took the time to do, that to alter that forge that was there and personalize it. And then, Smog might not be the most functional smith. They might not be always making things that are function over form. Maybe they're making shovels, but that shovel might have more ornamentation on it than it would be. It would kind of be on the border of being not functional because it was so ornate.
You know, like just like
Yes.
they would get into that mode of like making something
Flourish
He
to the
would-
point of impracticality.
Yeah, and he would just be like, "Fuck, I did it again." You know, like nobody's gonna buy this fucking shovel because you can't dig a pit with it, but it looks cool.
Right.
So I got that. You know, I think that's kind of
I think about your frying pan with a handle that is a Barbie doll,
yes,
all in
Hey, there's nothing wrong with that.
Things
cast
like
iron.
that, for sure.
Yeah. Nothing wrong with that at all. It's just that is a heavy handle.
Yes.
and it's very gets real hot too.
I'll bet. I'll bet.
Well, that's any cast iron.
But yeah, the bugger is heavy and hot.
So, okay, so I also like that about you because it's a counterpoint to the usage of the forge, right? I'm saying you kind of see this as the utility side of the forge, but at the same time, you have this artistic flair that counters that a little bit, right? Mm-hmm. Whereas Bear's character is much more about this kind of this sacred kind of connection to its history. If it is the same one, do we have? I mean, we don't have to make it the same one, but I'm just curious.
How do you mean? Wait. say
Well,
more.
in
If
that
this was that forge.
if Bear is thinking that this might have
oh, I
been one of those-
100% think it should be that forge.
Okay.
Garrett, did you see
Yeah,
an exacto
like,
for
I-
taking sports out?
I think that there's like
Pass it down.
a back room that somehow was connected to the forge that connects to a tunnel that links through to forges throughout a Vesper.
Okay.
Like, I'm not even going to say the fort, fucking Vesper. Like somehow these tunnels are all connected so that the breath, the heat, even if it's so diminished by distance and time, it's still that ember is still there, and it's like one central forge that fires every other one
Okay.
and keeps them all going.
Okay. I think that is brilliant. I cannot wait to expand upon that over a long, long, long period of time. Just watching what's going on over here in the tech world.
I'm gonna.
Well, now we're zooming in on me shaking paint.
Oh, we've been on it for a while, I think.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Ooh, shaking they paint.
We lost that camera? What, this one?
That's what that black was.
Huh. Interesting. Let me see what's going on here.
Well, if it's not a strong enough charger, it could have died.
No, it's alive. And it is charging.
Well, I don't know.
And
Did the movement on the slider kill it?
no, it's all plugged in. I've got the image. I just did that.
Plug it and replug it.
Oh, I know what we could also do. Let's do this. See if that gives us a new.
Oh,
Weird. Is it?
Yeah, you and I are gonna have
Is
to.
it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I couldn't see. Okay. Some technical difficulties on one of our cameras, which we're trying to figure out. So I like this. What's starting to develop here in terms of the two of you. Now you said, Eric, you said that Smog and Smog and Bear would likely have met. Maybe the farms are adjacent. You're sort of
Yeah,
out
we're
there a
neighbors.
ways. You could be neighbors.
Could be neighbors. You know, like we don't have to be like right on top
Well,
of each other, but
I
you know.
mean, yeah, if I was drawn into this town because of possibly this forge, I could have set up farmland out. If you're on the outskirts with
Yeah.
this, underground forge, I could have set up out there.
could have been like a really weird interaction the first few times that you came into town. And you were like kind of a little bit stalkery, but not like
You're like, what?
what do you got?
What's this
What do you got going on in there?
fucking, yeah.
Like knowing but not knowing, or not leading on to how
Yeah.
much you know about it.
Right.
That could be fun. I like that idea.
What do I think? I'm trying to make like I want like red orange hair. What do you think? More orange? I think it's still a little too
We have
red.
mixing questions going
I
on.
definitely think you get a little bit more.
But it's
Put some,
like,
put some of that gold in
ooh, yeah, maybe. Cook a little bit of the
there.
old.
Gold.
You two are hilarious.
There you go.
Oh,
now
Yeah,
you
they're
get
neighbors
it.
already.
So now take some of that and put more, like use the gold as your base and just tint it with
Yeah,
that.
I'm gonna put a little more gold in
Yeah.
Beautiful.
there. Yeah, it's starting to pop. Oh yeah,
Oh,
it's
yeah.
starting to pop.
Oh, yeah.
It's starting to
It-
pop.
That's what I'm
Well, you know
saying.
what? I'm gonna do gold base and then I'm gonna put a little bit on top of that. That's what I'm.
So, Brune,
Yes.
you also have a legacy of Beyond.
Yes.
So maybe are there ways in which you've thought about tying that to either Zmog's character or Bear's character?
Well, I mean, my thought also was kind of like, if Zmog has this rad fucking forge set up, what better way to get enticed into getting into that world? So what if Brune is like the struggling apprentice of Zmog?
Zmog?
I'm down with that. I'll take on a. I'm poor. I can't sell a lot of my shit. People don't want it all the time. But I'll. Yeah.
No one wants that shitty shovel, man.
If you want to learn how to make something that's
My farmland can only take so many shitty shovels.
Well, yeah, true. You probably bought a few things off of Zmog and were like, what the hell is this? I have the best looking rake, but it doesn't work.
Dude, the tines on this rake just keep fucking bending. What the fuck? Because they're
And then I go in
swirls.
there and I reforge
Why would you
it.
make a rake that are swirl tines?
I
Because
do-
it seemed the way.
I do really love the idea that the three of you are already well established in your connections, like really for a bit now. Even if Brune has just sort of entered the picture recently, the apprentice connection is really a nice one because it assumes that you've known each other for a bit.
Yeah.
And I
I
think,
like it.
Brune, you would probably have sought out that apprenticeship from Zmog because maybe you're not so concerned about the practicality of the thing. You're more
Yeah.
inspired by you're awestruck by the beauty of the thing.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's kind of what you were saying. Is you were like you're interested in the creation, right?
Yeah.
Like
Totally.
trust the process.
Yeah. That sounds absolutely about right.
And I think that would be the kind of person that Smog would feel comfortable taking on.
So we have this established triangle with Zmog sort of at the point where we've got Bear's connection to Zmog, we've got Brune's connection to Zmog. What about Bear and Brune in terms of your feelings about one another? You know, you have an interesting history, Bear, in that you're a former miner, forger, stone and metal worker dwarf who is kind of faced with an earth genasi, like a being that was brought to life from
essentially forged.
was essentially forged, right? So you're either going to really be awestruck, or maybe this is some kind of thing that terrifies you,
Blaspheme!
or something
Well, I mean-
altogether different. Yeah.
That also kind of went into something that I was talking we were chatting about with the cards last time, was the idea that, like, yes, you're on this pilgrimage, but what if the people or a prospective leader of this pilgrimage was the one that slew Brune's mother?
Oh, that's right. I forgot all about that.
That's
Yeah.
right. Yeah, we were talking about that.
So it's entirely possible that there's this there's this whole, all right, you're buddies with my boss, so I'm not gonna start shit. But what if there is this like lingering uncomfortability? or and not necessarily curiosity, but a perpetual like wondering of why. What was so wrong with the thing that created me that it needed to be removed from this world entirely?
And is this
in the name of an onward march towards a piece of ancient history?
this is a thing we're actually going to establish as fact, right? We're going to say that this person did do this, or it's rumored that this person did this. I'm curious how you want it to be. In other words,
I'd say let's go certainty.
let's go certainty.
Let's go
Okay.
certainty because I think having something concrete to point at is... I think that's more in line with how I would want to play her rather than constantly looking over her shoulder.
Sure. Yeah, no, that makes sense. And then, Bear, your sort of usage of the pilgrimage, right? Was it more of one to follow the dreams that you had, or was it one that abided by and stuck to what the pilgrimage was really about?
I want to say it was more connected to the dreams.
Yeah.
And like it was, I'm trying to think, like maybe in my youth, maybe I had traveled the whole thing. Because you said there was like 10 stops, right?
Yeah.
So maybe in my youth I had done traveled it, but I want to say that I lived somewhere maybe more closer to the start.
Mm-hmm.
Like maybe not that exact town, but outlying.
Yeah. Well, towns that could be considered on the start. One of the earliest towns is a town called Bay Breach, which is all the way down on the southern tip of the peninsula. But there's also the town of Pure. There's the town of Mammon. And then, of course, if you went further up, because then Pepperwick is next.
Yeah.
But towns along this route that I have established already are Bay Breach, Pure, Mammon, Pepperwick, High Vane. I sound like the announcement on a train announcing the stop.
Next station stop, Mammon.
Vinlon, Rousseau, Nanzier, Pretoria, Fennis, and Deep Falls.
Now these are all like southern?
No,
Like,
these
or,
are.
like-
This is the whole
Oh,
route.
that's the whole route.
That's the whole route. Now there are
okay.
other roads that lead into this
Uh-huh.
that will connect along the way that I haven't fully established, but 2 towns on there. Oh no, I should probably change that. All right, never mind. I
right.
need to rename one town
All
because
right,
it's
so I mean,
redundant.
we'll figure that out.
Yeah.
We'll figure that out. We're
Yeah.
gonna workshop that, but I'm gonna say maybe I had traveled the whole thing in my past,
Yeah.
but then these visions made me like I'm thinking visions showed me like the main road, showed me over the hillside, just like different flashes, and maybe because I had traveled it younger, it's like, okay, something's pointing me towards this route again.
Mm-hmm.
And then ultimately we wind up in Pepperwick
Okay.
because of the signs.
So then my next question would be, you being somebody who has used the pilgrimage road for your own purposes and not necessarily tied to the pilgrims that travel it, is Brune aware of that? Since you both have a connection through Zmog, and this would certainly color, and maybe Brune does not know this yet, right? But this could certainly color the relationship.
Yeah, I mean, I think it would be known that I mean, here's my question for I know definitely not Brune, but fuck Eric. Zmog. Would you have ever traveled the whole route? In your time on this continent?
I'm gonna say that I don't think I ever did the full thing.
Okay.
There was a brief period of time where I was like kind of feeling a little bit like a lost wanderer. Might have checked this out, but kind of got bored with the overbearingness of it.
Yeah.
So then I would just say that, maybe in the Forge, in our, group, we would have talked about it. I would just say that there would be history of it. It's a big part of the town, right?
Right. Right.
So I'm thinking at one point in time, it would have gotten brought up.
Yeah, no doubt.
Just because, maybe one of those, we talked about it in the first session. Like, this is a big part of the town, getting ready, set up for the next wave, per se.
So, Addie, I would let you decide then, based on that, like how Brune feels about Bear, knowing that it wasn't a direct tie to the person who necessarily slew your mother, but, you could use it in a way that...
Yeah. I think it would inspire wariness, and I think there would almost like a shortness under duress. Like if we were in a stressful situation, I don't think Brune would necessarily leap to compassion and calm, but have a little bit shorter of a fuse.
Okay.
With Bear in a situation like that.
Yeah, of course. I think that's a huge event.
Pertaining to, like, the road.
Or, like, say we're in a really tense combat, or we're in a spot where we might get into combat, and everybody's on high alert and are stressed out. Instead of taking a step back and taking a breath, Brune would immediately would put a little bit more venom in their words. I think also, because the question there is is this individual, this supposed leader of these pilgrims, are they someone you know?
I'm gonna say probably not. 'Cause I don't think I have that much connection to this pilgrimage.
Yeah.
And you're saying, you're thinking it's some kind of leader, or was it
Possibly. I mean, that's what's...
someone just on that year's route that...
That could be it. Or, wait, what if it's both? What if it's someone who on say last year's route kind of took up the helm and was getting people out of bad situations and was a de facto leader, a person of very profound faith who just kind of took the helm and perceived a threat and then moved along. And
rather than there always being a kind of...
it was this person, rather than, and I think possibly the latter is what Brune thinks it is. It's there is a leader of this procession that comes through every year, and they are the one who inflicted this atrocity upon.
But it's in fact not that, right? As a general rule, it just happened to be that way.
It just happened that way.
Yeah. Got it. Okay, so there's some things for you to sort of figure out.
Yeah.
Got it. All right, so couple other things in here. I'm just kind of going through and reviewing some of the fragments. I love the fact that Eric's bond fragment as Watcher, and Watcher is one who stands in silent guard over a place worthy of protection. Was this charge given to them by others, or did they choose it? You obviously chose it, because we're talking about this forge. What do they defend against? How well do they shoulder this responsibility, and what have you seen them accomplish already? So you've taken up residence there, right? You've built these doors, you've reformulated you've rebuilt this forge, right? So I feel like you as Watcher, I want you to maintain that identity in your head, this notion of watching over a place. And it's extending out now because you've taken up an apprentice in Brune, right? You've developed a friendship with someone that you're building things for, with Bear's character. So I feel like that's a really strong connection to how this system has worked for you, meaning the system of the Session Zero system. So Addie, in yours, your catalyst fragment is Faction Rises.
Yeah.
Hang on, I'm just trying to find Faction Rises. They seek dominance, power, and have the will to match their ambitions. Who are they? What are they willing to sacrifice to take control? Who do they look to overthrow? And why are they willing to risk so much now? So I don't know if this is also tied to the death of your mother
Yeah.
and what it is that you're beginning to develop, but I think that's something in the second half when we come back from break we should probably flesh out a little bit.
Yeah.
Because I feel like that's a really strong one you could use.
100%. And I mean, and I think, I don't know. I have a couple different ideas, because it's like, what if this mysterious individual who slew Brune's mother was not meant to be a leader, but got a taste for it and thought it should be me. Alternatively, what if, because I do kind of like the I don't know, I'm a sucker for when revenge plots end in ways that circumvent the achieving of vengeance. And
Wait, say that one more time, I'm sorry.
I'm a big fan of when revenge plots circumvent the achieving of that revenge. Like, I'm not gonna spoil anything, but take like The Last of Us Part 2, where the ending of that is it's divisive because you spend the whole game pursuing a revenge story, and then it ends in a completely different way than anybody would expect. I think the idea of Brune being in a space of, I know a face that slew my mom, don't have a name, I know that they were in charge of whatever this pilgrimage was, so I guess I have a motive in mind of why they did what they did. And over the course of that year, kind of just stewing in that, you almost begin to like fantasize about who that person is and what they do and what their actual motives are. And you kind of build up this perception and this preconception of who this person is in your head. And then the chance for that to get totally flipped on its head.
Oh, and you know that's half the way I DM my games, is I'll have these situations where I'm like, I'll point you in a direction of a story, you will gather information, and then at the moment where you think you're going to resolve everything, often, not always, something will turn your perception. Also, in Till We Have Faces by C.S. Lewis, there's a bit of that in there where those perceptions are driven by the very sort of primitive religious beliefs of this town and how they only understand things to be a certain way. And when presented with an alternate story, they cannot conceive of it. And so I maybe just explore how your perceptions of what it is you would do and how this is going to turn out, what they're fueled by from your past. Okay?
I like it.
And then back to Bear for 1 second. Bear, before we go to break, your bond fragment was guide. And in guide it says, someone to give direction to those lost like a light in the darkness. Who are they in the social structure of your world? What paths do they point to? How has their message been received? And when did you hear their guidance, and what did it lead you towards? Did you take it? So we'll assume that Thrud in your dreams is the guide here, is that correct?
Yeah, it was the dreams. It was the Thrud figure or visions, most likely. And yes, I took it.
I think one of the things you should work on then is rather than taking all of these at face value and plugging this in a very sort of one-to-one way, where it's like Thrud is the guide, you took the advice, you received the message in a way that inspired you to travel. Let's find one point of not conflict, but a place where you don't understand. A thing that leaves you still guessing or wondering. It gives you something to pursue.
Okay.
All right. I'm not sure what that is, but we can figure that out later.
Okay. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, we'll figure something out.
Okay. Good. Good. All right. I think this is going really well. So, how are the paintings? How's the painting going?
I think pretty well.
Yeah, all right. Maybe.
I'm getting there.
Eric's going for the extreme close-up here.
Doing
What do we
some-
got? Let me see. Oh, I love that. I like the blue. Come in a little bit closer. There you go. Of course, the light's not perfect.
Oh,
but
look at that.
Hang on.
Eric's going to
Oh.
bring us in with a light
Oh,
shot.
fuck.
Oh, yeah, that's
Look at that.
great. Very nice. You want to show us... oh, look at the feet.
Damn.
Turn it around the back. Can we see the back?
Back shot. Keep going. Keep going.
Come on, make it work.
Working on it.
There's the little sickle and
Yeah.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Nice.
Perfect.
Nice.
Can you show us Scarrets, maybe?
Oh,
Yeah,
we're working.
sure.
We're working.
Let's see the Dwarf Cleric.
We're working on it.
Oh, that's mighty.
We are.
I like the hair color.
Yeah.
We are working on the
Damn.
hair.
Oh,
Trying
that's
to-
great.
Trying to build it up a little bit. I haven't done. I was working on just kind of armor and just trying to get some base stuff on there right now.
Yeah. Yeah, that's looking
'Cause
really
the armor's
good.
gonna have like a lot of like different kind of gunmetal and gold accents.
Uh-huh.
So I really just kind of have a base.
Still
on it.
basing it.
Yeah.
Yep, that's fine. That's fine.
There's gonna be a lot of fine detail work, which I think I'm gonna do at home with a lot better lighting.
Yeah.
So I'm
We're a
just
little
kind of doing some rough
Hampered here.
basing right now.
Addy, you want to show yours?
Sure.
Flip the
screen.
cam over.
Ooh.
Oh, yeah, look at
Ooh.
that. I'm trying to get a view here. Pull it down just a little.
down.
There you
There
go.
Back
I
it-
love that brown.
Back it up a little bit.
On
maybe?
the, yeah, back up just a
There we go.
smidge.
Right there. Right there.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah, that's looking great. Oh my god, these are going to be great
Digging.
minis. Nice.
I'm still trying to decide what color I want the cloak to be.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
also like the side areas of like the hip armor. Because I've did this little like green on the...
I like.
Yeah, the green with the brown looks really great.
Yeah, maybe I'll do the cloak in green too.
Well, consider also, you know, your palette is very earth tone related. So
Yeah.
for the earth genasi, that makes sense. Maybe another tone of green. Like, what would it have been made from?
Yeah, I think the cloak and that kind of like tabard under the plate, I think that was some of her mother's old clothing
Okay.
that she took with her when she left.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's go to break, and we'll come back, and I think we'll work on a couple more facets of the beginning of this adventure. And I kind of want to introduce you some ideas around the adventure so that you can further develop your bonds as characters. I want to flesh out a little bit more about this. I won't call it a friendship yet, but I will call it this these pre-existing conditions that put you all together. And I want to work out some more details in the town. A couple of shops. I know we got a bazaar. I know you have a booth in the bazaar. We got nothing else. right? I would like to agree upon the availability of resources in Afari, right? Because yes, we're in a new economic era for Afari, but magic items, are they something that are abundant, and why? Are they scarce? Why? We can talk about the 3 magic systems briefly because we've got some of that going on.
Would I know some campaigns occasionally start out with a free common magic item.
Well, let me see how the break goes, and maybe we can maybe we'll roll for it. Maybe we'll ask the chat. Should I give them a free common magic item at level 1? That could be a rabbit hole I'm not willing to go down. We'll see. All right, we'll let you vote on that. We got some stuff for you to watch while we're on break, and we will be back shortly. If you haven't yet liked and subscribed to the channel, please do that. And also, the one thing I forgot to announce at the beginning of this is we were nominated for a Crit Award for Best Studio Production, and the voting is still open on that. There's a link to that in the description. So if you would vote for us, you can go over to that link, scroll through, look at some of the other creators that have been nominated. They're really awesome. But when you get the Best Studio Production, make sure to cast your vote for Wither and Bloom Studios. We got some big people that we want to overthrow. All right, we'll see you after this break. We'll be back soon. Thanks. This currency you get to hang on to and then spend during our games to affect us. Now, how does that work? If you go to witherandbloomstudios.com/boons and banes, you can actually see a menu via Shadow Dark of what it is we offer. So a boon might buy a character a torch. A bane might buy the GM advantage on a roll. And you can jump in there and actually affect our game. It is a ton of fun. And lately, it's been really good. So, number 1, buy Banes for me. Don't worry about the players. I'm the one who needs the help here. But number 2, get in there and do it. Give it a try. Go over to the website and check out what's going on. There's a full explanation there if you need help, and we will see you back at the table. Hey guys, I wanted to talk to you for a minute about a recent module that we created. Now, you might have seen our series called A Clockwork Silence on YouTube, and you probably had a good time with that. You know that as a ttrpg, Daggerheart is really narrative forward and really focuses on storytelling. And we had a great time with this in A Clockwork Silence. So A Clockwork Silence takes place in my homebrew city of Amakora, which is on the continent of Emberfell, in a world called Vesper. This city is full of clanks, automatons that are sort of the product of an inventiveness, a culture of tinkerers that have moved into the city because it's full of resources. It's a port town. There's ships going in and out all the time. So you're able to get anything you want. And therefore, we've got a lot of innovation. In this city, a very famous clank inventor named Aurora Flux has disappeared. She's gone missing. And it was just on the eve of her unveiling her latest invention called the Veritas engine. The Veritas engine was a device that was supposed to sort of seek out truth by connecting with the resonating impulses from your body. But what Aurora didn't realize she had done is potentially created an engine that gave sentience to clanks, something she's been seeking for a long time. Now, things are unstable. There's a deep resonating hum throughout the city, and Aurora is gone. Your party is actually going to help correct this. You're going to look for Aurora and get to the bottom of what's happening here. This brings into play so many moral issues that your players are going to have to tackle. Like, for one, does this clank have like a life force now? And are you going to be forced to take it away from her? These are great problems to solve. So I'm looking forward to it. Now, the module itself is completely finished. 42 pages, and you can pick it up on our website, or you can head over to DriveThruRPG, or you can pick it up on itch.io. All three resources are available. We're going to get a link to it in our shop below as well. Check it out. If you're a Daggerheart GM, I really think you're going to love this module. Can't wait to hear what you think. Catch you soon. Thanks for sticking with us.
Mukbang shot.
Alex has got the food. That's awesome.
I was hungry.
That's okay. I was hungry too. That's what break is for. All right. So a couple of things. Number one, if you didn't go vote for us in those crit awards, or if you did, thank you for doing that. If you didn't, please go do that. Number two, sorry about the glitch on the break. We got that figured out. We're still figuring a few technical things out. All right. So let's establish a couple of things in Pepperwick. So first of all, in this campaign, in the world as it currently is, what are some conditions we're interested in having sort of tensions, maybe, that are underlying things? Is there anything you can think of? Like, okay, in earlier campaigns, we always had the fact that Afari as a continent was on the verge of war with Emberfell, and there was always this brewing tension that was existing there. Do you see anything, given the new structure of the economy, now that the hearts have been put back in their proper place and things are sort of getting back to normal, do you see the potential for conflicts that spiral out from the old one? Or something entirely different? Or maybe you don't have any idea and you want to leave that to me. I don't know. What do you think on that front first? Let's start there. Anything like that?
I mean, I definitely see potential in the idea that maybe there were some people on Afari who couldn't let go of Velvet Sky, or there were some people who disagreed with Velvet Sky's methods to an extreme and are now trying to hunt down any remnants of Velvet Sky across Afari or something along those lines. Or
Well, I think there could be some tension too in that we talked about the last session that Velvet Sky could have been a patron of Pepperwick in that they sourced a lot of the material for their weaponry from Pepperwick. So there might be some people that are still pro Velvet Sky because they put food on their tables.
That is
in the off season.
Yes, I think we're getting somewhere.
And I think there's probably some that are idealistic and more peaceful or more pilgrimage based that don't agree with that use of force to further one's situation.
Just to quickly fill people in on what Velvet Sky is, Velvet Sky was a sort of paramilitary faction in Afari of a sort of more advanced, militarized culture of druids who had become so militarized because one of the sacred ecological resources, the heart of the Vassarine, a mycelial heart that lived underground and was the central force of much of what the druids worshipped, had been ripped from the ground by someone named Calagenia, who was a sort of demigod. And he took this heart to the continent of Emberfell and planted it adjacent to the heart that exists in Emberfell. And there was this explosion of foliage and flora in response to that, because you basically had a concentration of powers in and under the ground. And so Emberfell flourishes, and you see farms and forests and things just exploding in the best way. The economy booms because you've got all these agrarian, you got all these agricultural situations that just all of a sudden now are reaping the benefits. And Afari, where the heart was taken from, subsequently dies, which was known as the sunset. So what Eric's referring to here is the Velvet Sky was the response force to trying to get that heart back to Afari. And they become a very powerful force, and they become the de facto army for the continent of Afari, which never really had an army before. And they begin to prepare to go to war with the continent of Emberfell over this. And Pepperwick, as we discovered collaboratively in our storytelling last week, was one of the main resources for early versions of gunpowder, which the Velvet Sky used in a lot of the weapons they built, and our party members found while they were adventuring in that land. So I think that's a great tie. I'm curious now about how Velvet Sky functions. Are they completely defunct because there's no need, or do they continue to hold their beliefs that there is a need to protect that which is the culture of Afari?
I mean, I could definitely see them losing some of their thrust and their following, like losing a lot of membership, because as the sunset kind of came full circle and started brightening up again, maybe some people that were committed to their cause were like, yeah, maybe not so much anymore, I don't really care.
Right.
And so they probably lost a lot of numbers, but I'm sure that there are still some of those zealots that are ready to take up arms at a moment's notice in order to prevent that from ever happening again. Maybe there are some that are truly dedicated to protecting the heart of the Vassarine and its location that we don't really know where that is anymore, right? Because that was hidden.
Well, yes, because when it was returned, and it was deemed such a threat, right, to have it lost again. There was so much activity around it that its location is kept a secret.
Right.
Addy, you look like you were going to say something.
Maybe there is a sect of Velvet Sky remnants that, now that the heart of the Vassarine is returned, maybe they decide it's payback time and are trying to devise a means to steal the heart of Lotuja from Emberfell.
Damn. VS has splinter groups.
Because, okay, what I think about, and I think this is the second time that I've mentioned The Last of Us this stream, but in The Last of Us, we see this massive organization of individuals wronged who have banded together to militaristically fight for a purpose. And then when they feel like that purpose has failed, split off, go their own separate ways, and become totally different things.
Right. Well, this is what happened with Nex Cornu.
Exactly. And we saw that in Rising.
Yeah. We've seen this in our campaigns before. Okay, I like this very much.
So maybe these people that are fucking off to Emberfell to go try and steal the heart of Lotuja don't even call themselves Velvet Sky anymore.
Yeah, they probably have a new name. All right, rename this. Got it. For those of you that are watching or might watch this in the future, a lot of the world building, a lot of the lore and the history and mythology and creation myth that we're talking about exists partially as campaigns we run. It exists partially as, or mostly as, all my notes, but it will also exist soon as a campaign setting that I'm working on developing, and we're going to have all of this detailed and fleshed out for you at some point. So, but what are you laughing about?
Is that what you're going? Shameless plug.
Shameless plug. The Heartseekers, the Reclaimers. Rabbit's trying to name this Splinter faction.
The Reclaimers. That sounds like a good 80s band.
It does.
And I would walk 500 miles.
To reclaim the heart of the Vassarine.
I like
Fuck
that, though.
bands now,
Yeah.
fuck bands now.
All right, stop singing. Sorry.
Just
kidding.
Duly noted.
The Heartseekers. All right, Rabbit, keep it going. You can really you do well at cooking on these name things. So keep cranking on this one.
I think I'm relatively finished with painting Broom.
Good. You wanna do what? Yeah, that cam has a focus. Oh, something got moved? Okay. All right. We can see it though. That looks great. Oh, what color did the cape wind up being? The same
The
green?
cape wound up being the same
Nice.
green.
Oh,
And
no, that
I like
looks-
it a lot.
That looks great.
Yeah, there's good contrast in those kind of earthen tones.
Now, once you are certain that it's all dry, we're going to introduce you to the shadow wash. Have you done shadow wash before?
I haven't. I've seen it on Nibirius.
Yeah.
You don't do that.
No, not that shadow wash.
That was an over.
I don't know what was wrong
Oh,
with that.
really?
That was.
We're going to give you a good shadow
We went
wash.
for the dunk motion on that one.
That had gloss.
I don't know why. I don't know. Maybe it wasn't mixed well enough.
That's what it was. I bet anything it wasn't mixed right.
I probably was.
Aren't
just like,
all bases a
"Oh, look at
gloss?
this."
Aren't all bases like inherently glossy? But then in order to get them matte, there's a
There's-
material
yeah.
that shatters the glossiness.
Reflective gloss. Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna get you a shadow wash.
Sweet. Should I paint the base, do we think?
Oh heck yeah!
Cool.
Yeah.
Does anybody have like a
What you need?
stone gray,
That-
like a light stone
That
gray?
whole rack of paints there has all kinds of stuff. Just be careful because they might break apart when you pick it up.
Got it.
Like a stupid fine point brush.
A stupid fine point.
Jesus, this is gorgeous.
That's how I do eyeballs, Eric.
Fuck. That's exactly what I was asking for.
That's how you do the highlight in the eyeball.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Yes.
Damn.
You get just that little tiny drop, and it's just this little.
Little highlight. Yeah.
Tiny little point. Ooh, the harrowing end.
Herring wind.
Or just the harrow.
The harrow. All right, I'm writing that one down. That one's gonna make the list. The harrow. The harrow. Okay, good. Let's keep working on this. So, I like this idea that we're sort of extending out some of the older factions and networks as still surviving, still being a potential problem. They could help to seed certain parts of the story. I'm curious about what we talked about just before we went to break about magic items and magic in the world. Let's talk about that a little bit. Addie's notion of a magic item? A common magic item? I don't know. I will produce the dungeon. Oh, I don't have my DM's guide down here.
Damn.
I could open up 5e tools.
I got D&D Beyond. It's here somewhere. Let's see. What do you guys think of this? Both in the chat and Eric and Garrett, what do you think of this idea of getting an early magic item? Sorry, I'm trying to do two things at once here.
I mean, I love stuff. Don't get me wrong. But I don't know how early it should come out. I don't know.
Sounds like a vote opposed. Garrett?
I don't know. Kind of like Eric. I love stuff. I always want more power.
More power.
More power.
Give it till she's got Captain.
Don't want too much.
Chat? What do you think, chat? Oh, Rabbit's coming in hard. I vaguely recall the GM's guide saying if they are given, they should be above character level. So I'd say one common wouldn't be a big deal. JK Scuba. Common quality magic items often create storytelling opportunities.
Yeah.
This
Yeah,
is true.
that is true.
That is very true. And I think rather than just sort of arbitrarily, like, roll a die and say, you start with this, and you start with this, and you start with this.
Gotta be built into something.
I think we build it into something. So what if I create a compromise?
Oh boy. Here we go.
A common item, like 3 common items, I think is out of the question. But
Yeah.
what if we had one item that we craft a story around that helps to build our backstory and the introduction to this, and you can decide as a party how you use it, or who gets it, or whatever the case may be. You know, keep in mind that you're level 1, and magic items are things that are known in the world, but you've probably never encountered before.
Yeah.
So this could be something that's almost, in your eyes, wondrous, even though it's not truly wondrous. What else is coming into the chat here? Checking D&D Beyond for what these things could be. Yes, me too, Rabbit. All right, let me look here. Garrett's into it.
Well, I'm happy with how the red hair is coming out.
Oh, you're talking about the dude.
No, yeah, I'm
thinking
I'm not
you're
even like
into-
really thinking about what's going on over there. Sorry.
That's all right. You're over there in your world.
Live your truth, King.
It's all good. I'm going to get some percentile die out.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
And I'm going to roll some of my favorite percentile die. All right, so here's the deal. I'm going to roll on magic item table B. Because B is just a little bit of a bump from A. A really consists of about 10 items, maybe 8 items, and it is not a lot. B is quite a long list. And so I think we're going to pull from there. I just want to see what the chat is currently saying. D&D Beyond filter was crap. It didn't work for me. That's okay. That's okay. All right. I will put it to you all. Would one of you like to roll percentile die for this? First roll. We'll have a roll of session
Yeah,
0.
don't let Eric
Yeah.
touch our dice.
All right, here's what we're going to do.
I'll do it.
Here's what we're going to do. Wait, here's what we're going to do.
All right.
Everybody roll a d20,
Oh boy.
Okay.
and we'll see who rolls highest. And the highest roller will roll the percentile dice. How does that sound?
I like it.
Truly random.
Yeah.
Give me a second. I'm trying to touch up an ear right now.
Gotta grab a D20.
Oh, Rabbit says all roll and pick the best or most interesting. Wait a minute. What do you think of that?
Kind of drive with that.
I like Rabbit's idea.
All roll percentage.
All roll percentile dice. We hear the 3, and we pick the most interesting. Not the best, but the most interesting. Let's do that.
Yeah.
All right.
And we could even say, and maybe this is thinking ahead, we could even say that if it's interesting enough, possibly the discovery of this item happens in one of our first sessions.
Oh,
that could
so
be
you
a-
don't start with it, but
That
you're
could be a storytelling anchor, possibly. Who knows?
okay. Well, let's
Spitballing.
see what we get,
Yeah, let's see what we
and
get.
we'll see where it most
Percentile?
appropriately fits.
Oh man, I gotta find some percentile dice. They're like
Nah.
they're hidden in the. Okay, I got them.
Oh, some of these are great.
Okay.
Some are not so great. Some are. That's why I think the interesting side of this could be really good. Garrett, what do you got?
I have a 56.
56.
Ooh, shit.
Garrett. Eric, what do you got?
I have a 66.
Ooh, 66. Show me a 76, Addy.
Close. I have 71.
Oh, okay, 71. All good numbers. All right, let's see what we got here. So our 56 would be a spell scroll of 2nd level. An uncommon scroll. So we'd have to figure out what spell that contains. But
I think it could be fun if we didn't know. If that's the one that we went with.
Okay. All right. So that's our first option. So Garrett rolled for a second level spell scroll. All right. Eric has a 66. Oh, fuck that.
There we go.
No.
That's it. That's it.
Silvery barbs.
What is it?
Come on. No.
What?
What
No.
is
John's vetoing it.
It's a fucking bag of holding.
Yes!
Come on. Really? I don't know.
That's what I rolled, dude. Just saying.
It's the story.
You know, you agreed to this.
I'm dying to know what the chat is saying right now. Hold on a minute.
The story the dice want to tell.
Bag of holding.
Rabbit's laughing. Yeah, look at what you've done. All right, 71. I kind of like this one from a storytelling standpoint.
Of
Oil
course he
of
does.
slipperiness. This sticky black unguent is thick and heavy in the container, but it flows quickly when poured. The oil can cover a medium or smaller creature along with the equipment it's wearing and carrying. One additional vial is required for each size category above medium. Applying the oil takes 10 minutes. The affected creature then gains the effect of a freedom of movement spell for 8 hours. Alternatively, the oil can be poured on the ground as an action where it covers a 10-foot square, duplicating the effect of the grease spell in that area for 8 hours. So you could either have infinite or a fair bit of holding, you could have
A fair
slipperiness,
bit of holding.
or a second level spell scroll. Now there's potential in that.
I think the two that I see the most potential in are the scroll and the bag. And they're for relatively similar reasons. The scroll can be any second level spell. So you could really help us or fuck us with that. And I think either way we'd have a blast with it.
Yeah.
The bag is a really interesting idea because what if it's not one of our bag? What if it's got shit in it from its prior owner?
Well, given what you guys in the past have put into bags of holding, I can think of lots of interesting things to start that bag out with.
Yeah. And I mean, I don't want to put really awful and terrifying ideas in your head, but have you heard of the Bagman?
The Bagman?
Bagman.
There's no way you haven't heard,
I've heard of the Bagman.
Bagman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that could be interesting.
Bagman. There's all fucking crazy ways to turn a bag of holding
Into
something really, really crazy.
crazy. Yeah, no, for sure. For sure. Well, let's see. I'm going to pop back over to the chat for a second. All right, so let's see. Could have come from a somewhat common use in the mines for moving heavy rocks. The unknown spell might have been for payment of something from the farm, from someone who didn't know what its origin or full value was. A bag found on a prior adventure. Yeah. Okay. What do you guys think? I'm not going to tell you what the second level spell would be. It's going to be a scroll of you don't know what it is. Not right away. Also, I think that JK Scuba says Bagman is awesome. So,
Bagman rules.
I like the bag.
He wants to kill us right now.
no, I don't. I'm interested. Listen, I get to play with this thing, right?
I think I like the bag also, simply from the lens of what if there's
Todd's
stuff
playing with
in
his
it.
bag right now.
Hey,
Yeah, he is.
What if there's what, Addy?
I don't know. I like the idea of there being something in the bag already that we don't expect that can turn it into it. That can turn whatever we're trying to do into a total fuck show.
Okay. All right, Rabbit. Thank you for participating. You've been awesome. Anyway. All right, let's make it the bag.
Awesome.
What's in the bag?
I think it's kind of ironic that a bag of holding comes into play as the first magic item you'll receive after playing Shadow Dark.
Yeah.
A game totally steeped in gear slots.
Yeah. Yeah, and the idea of, because like Shadow Dark is super crunchy when it comes to like carrying capacity and inventory, which is something that, I mean, as a GM, I don't usually run with because I more often than not run games for new players, and it can be a lot to track, and it's stressful, and can on more than one occasion sometimes detract from the fun of people trying to focus on things not in the realm of crunch, in the realm of these games.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. Well, and that's kind of how I think I'm going to look at this bag of holding this time around is, to get it away from the obvious open-ended thing that it is and begin to introduce some of the newer thoughts I have about how I can.
It's not a get out of jail free card for carrying capacity. It's a little more carrying capacity, but don't forget it's magical.
Right.
Shit can happen with it.
Right. All right. Cool. As far as the availability of magic items in the world, let's talk about that a little bit. If we're in Afari, right? So Afari tends to be much less cosmopolitan. It tends to be much more sort of agrarian in its, druidic heritage. So I'm not saying that there might not be such a thing as a magic shop. There, of course, would be a shop that sold magic items, but it might not be the type of thing that you could walk into and find a construct from Amakora necessarily, or an airship probably is not going to be readily available. You might not have other types of, advancements at the ready. But how do you want to proceed? I have been in situations with you all in campaigns where I have withheld heavily, and there have been situations where I have been overly generous to the point where I have hated myself for giving you too many things.
I mean... Totally. That.
Yeah, you want that?
Yeah.
I think...
I want a magic item every battle.
Go ahead, Eddie. I'm not entertaining that.
I've said it before on the channel. I think magic items are at their best when they scale in relation to your character's progression throughout their personal narrative, which is why I love the idea of like Vestige of Divergence style magic items so much, because they have a story as your character does. Like, think about, okay, and because I mean, I wanted to go for the Critical Role reference, but I'm gonna do the Lord of the Rings reference instead.
Okay.
When Aragorn is in Fellowship of the Ring, when Aragorn is in Rivendell and he sees the shards of Narsil and he's holding the hilt of Narsil, and he's revering it as a symbol of the failure of his bloodline, as this is the last remnant of a thing that tried to do something good for the world but ultimately failed, and now I carry that in my blood. And he puts it back down on that altar and he leaves it be.
Mm-hmm.
And he then goes on this whole crazy journey, all while the shards of Narsil are still sitting back in Rivendell.
Right.
Near Arwen and Elrond, who are two characters so important to Aragorn's story that their dynamic is intrinsically affecting both of their relationships with Aragorn, and then subsequently with the shards of Narsil. So to such a point where when in Return of the King, Elrond has Andúril, Flame of the West, forged and brings it to Aragorn personally, it's no longer a symbol of the failure of Aragorn's bloodline's past, but a symbol of what the future of him could be. And I think that's a really powerful, like, an inanimate object almost feeling so tied to a character's past, present, and future is something that really interests me, especially in a tabletop game where you've got +2 or +1, +2, +3 weapons and all these different magical buffs and effects that can happen to it. Like, I think it's just such a massive sandbox for invention of that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So I personally almost find the idea of magic shops boring. Hot take. I know the idea of going and spending a butt ton of gold on a cloak of displacement and a +2 short sword and all of these different things.
And then we're like, we're ready to go.
Yeah, it feels good to go in and have those shopping episodes and stock up. But a scene where you're, say, resting your great axe on this ancient shrine and allowing the winds of nature to imbue it with a new magical force for you to take with you on your journey has so much more symbolism. It feels so much more personal to the characters. So stuff like that is what I would be more interested in a magic item perspective.
I love...
It's just much more cinematic.
Of course, and from a storytelling standpoint, it's so much better. There's an interesting crossover space you're making me think of in between those two worlds, where, you know, in the Lord of the Rings, what you're talking about obviously has this, you know, pre-written, scripted thing in it, and of course we could try to figure out how to organically make something like that unfold with, say, a weapon that you find in a sacred place that maybe when taken somewhere else begins to resonate. And, you know, we could develop something. But there's this interesting thing I'm thinking of back from when I played the game Diablo 2. And they had slotted weapons. And the slotted, you'd find a sword and it would have 3 slots in it. And then you could take gem fragments and shards and combine them and make them into perfect gems. But you could put any level of gem into those slots. And of course you had rubies, diamonds, emeralds, and they would create different magical properties within the weapon. Okay, so this is a much more sort of transactional kind of way to imbue a weapon with magic. But it's kind of a way to get between this idea that a weapon comes preloaded like a burner phone with a, you know, here's the magical property that's associated with this weapon.
Totally.
Or here's a weapon that has the potential to be imbued with magic. You go out into the world and find out how to do that. Maybe not as direct as like slots for gemstones, but it's like, you know, maybe certain, sort of like how Soul Gems, what game is that from? Skyrim? Soul Gems are not from Skyrim?
I haven't played Skyrim in years.
Jesus, am I dating myself?
I know, like, the phrase is so familiar.
Well,
and
basically the idea is that these gems had the ability to have the soul of a departed person put in them, thus imbuing them with power. So I think there's a way to give a mechanical nature to something here and make this happen. So let's work on that more. We don't have to do that now, but
yeah, totally.
Okay, I'll shut up now.
No, that was great. That was awesome.
What about you two? Any thoughts?
On magic
They're
items
painting.
in the world.
They're really
So painting.
they're in the
just
zone.
fucking-
You guys are way in the zone.
I think I just painted and kind of like gave a little bit of a texture-y kind
I
of
think
thing
I'm at that point where I'm like, I gotta
to my base.
pop down.
You wanna? That looks good. Are you ready for a shadow wash?
I might want to give this base like an extra minute or so to just dry a little bit.
Okay.
But I think other than that, I think they're ready.
I'll try to track it down for you. Eric, what do you got? Can you jump in on Eric's cam?
Oh, that's so dope.
J.K. Scuba says I dated myself with Diablo 2. Oh, that looks amazing.
That's so sick.
Oh my god. Yes. Nice. J.K. Scoob, I could have just talked about Doom.
Okay, but Doom in all its forms is a great game.
Oh my god, it's so... And I remember playing it when it was first released. I was like...
You know, people found out how to run Doom on a mini fridge.
Oh, they run... It's like a running thing where you're like,
Yeah.
let's see if we can get Doom on every piece of digital...
If there is a screen,
If there's a
Doom
screen,
will
we'll get
be
Doom on
seen.
it. Yeah. I'm reading this... that looks really good.
Thanks.
I'm reading this really cool book published by MIT Press called Uncertainty in Games. And it really talks about the uncertainty principle of a game's outcome as the driving force of interest in the game. And it starts out with things like, tic-tac-toe. As soon as you figure out tic-tac-toe, which takes all of about 3 minutes once you learn how to play it,
Yeah.
the game is boring and you don't want to ever play it again. All the way up to games where the uncertainty factor is so undefinable. Like, there are definable uncertainty factors in games, right? But of course, this guy goes into Dungeons and Dragons and how the uncertainty comes from a very convoluted, kind of complex system of chance with the players, and then, of course, what the DM has kind of like built. But one of the things it talks about, getting back to Doom, is how Doom, I think it was Doom, one of the first-person shooters that allowed other people in, where you had like a multiplayer situation. In other words, you came out of the AI, for lack of a better word, as the generator of monsters and uncertainty, right? Which was a randomness thing. You could, and any of those programs could be broken into and looked at, and you could figure out exactly how they're being made. But as soon as you put human uncertainty on the other end of the uncertainty factor, it changed gaming forever. It was really interesting. And I was so profoundly affected by, like, because Doom, you could do that in Doom, but it was Quake, which was the follower of Doom.
Yeah.
Quake was such a good multiplayer first-person game.
Yeah.
So anyway, since JK said I dated myself, I may as well fully date myself. But,
Yeah, go there.
But having other people as the uncertainty factor was a game changer. Anyway, what were we saying?
I mean, we were talking about magic items, and then that led to Doom. I mean, honestly, Doom, especially the more recent Doom games. I haven't played the most recent Doom.
4.
Well, I've played Doom 2016, which was like a soft reboot, and then the sequel to that, which was Doom Eternal.
Eternal, yes.
And
Doom
then
Eternal.
I played the first DLC, or the first expansion for
Mm-hmm.
Doom Eternal. Didn't play the second part of it, and then I haven't played Doom the Dark Ages because I have an old Xbox. But regardless,
Did you just soften the G in regardless?
Yeah,
That's good.
it's fun.
Yeah, he always does that.
Doom Eternal treats getting a new, like, you really, God, those games are nuts, because if you set it on the easiest difficulty, you just feel like a force of nature, and it's so much fun.
Mm-hmm.
But Eternal does a really great job of weapon feel, and you see it a lot with, because they give you a sword. They give you a big laser greatsword in Doom Eternal, and the weight of it narratively and as a piece of the Doomslayer's past, and using that ability in the game going forward, and then having it as a plot element, it felt really involved, really palpable. Like, I don't know, it's hard to describe, but I think if we're thinking about the idea of weapons and gear and items and the loadout, so to speak, of your character,
Yeah.
having a story as much as the character itself. Doom is a solid example of that. So don't sell yourself short on Doom.
Oh no, definitely not. But I do think we're getting somewhere with this idea that, and we've had this in the past. We have created weapons in our characters', possessions that have had certain types of narratives that they've been built on. But I think we fall down a little bit in maintaining those stories.
Yeah.
Right? So I would say that if we're going to do this, let's do it in a very sustainable and perhaps minimal way, so that Eric, so that we can keep it going.
Yeah.
In the confessional booth, when I start to do any kind of interviews with you guys, I would love to include those things.
Yeah.
So let's try to do that.
I like it. I like it a lot.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, just writing a few things down here. Let's talk about... We talked about the bazaar in town. Garrett wanted there to be a bazaar in town, and Garrett's character, Bear, has a market stall for produce and goods from the farm at this bazaar. What other places of interest should we have in this town that are not necessarily about the forge and not necessarily about direct backstory? But let's just populate it with one from each of you. So, I mean, I'm already going to have an inn, because we're going to have that anyway, because we've got this pilgrimage that passes through there. So I've already taken care of that. That probably coincides with a tavern of sorts. But what are we interested in having? And I love the smile on your face already.
So, last week we talked about the idea of this fishing guild. And of like this group of people who go out onto the lake and they go and they fish. I wonder if they have a guild hall. And in that guild hall, that's where they make and sell the fish scale armor. Maybe they've got some unique weapons, different spears that are designed to be multi-purpose. You could use it as if the town is under attack from, say, some wild monstrosity or beast, then this fishing guild could pick those up and use them at a moment's notice. But they can also be used as harpoons for fishing. Maybe they've got, at this bazaar, they've got booths set up where they're selling not just fish, but also some of these pieces of clothing or tools that they're making out of fish bones and scales and carcasses, and just really using every part of a fish for some purpose or product.
Oh my god. I love it.
And as kind of a touchstone character, so the leader of this guild, I had an idea. Because I was thinking about, because I just played through, I finished it maybe a month or two ago. It was Star Wars Jedi Survivor. Fantastic game. And there's a side character in that game who is this little, foot-tall guy in a wetsuit named Scuva.
Scuva.
Who talks with this brilliant accent and who regales the protagonist with his stories of being on a pirate ship before he became a legendary fisherman. And he was
Star Wars what?
Jedi Survivor.
Go ahead, keep going.
I will send you a video of some of these stories because they're phenomenal.
Okay.
And so I love the idea of, say, maybe this gnome or kobold who has a raft that they just paddle out into the middle of the lake and just talk to themselves for hours and fish away. But then when they get back inland, they're locked into the business side of things and is able to just go back and forth between an eccentric fisherman persona, but also is able to get shit done.
I have such an idea for this. I'm not going to tell you what it is.
I leave it in your hands. I leave it in your hands.
So appreciate this. What a great idea. Oh my god, I freaking love this. Okay. And I'm just, before I go over to Eric and Garrett for their ideas for something in the town, chat, add one. Let's see in the chat an idea for the existence of something in this town, be it a store, some kind, in this case, a guild, some kind of entity in the town of Pepperwick that will add some flavor to this game. Okay, so something that we can kind of play around with. And then start populating the chat with that, and we'll talk about what you've been putting in there in a couple minutes. Eric, you got something?
Yeah. One of the things that I'm thinking about is there's got to be some textile industry, right?
Okay.
Some kind of either wool maker, or I'm thinking more of like a weaving kind of scenario. And I think there's two parts to it. There's like the fabric textile end of it, and then there's a rope making and net making to build off of the fishing guild. So like I could see there being like a part of this building, it was like a factory that makes rope, and those pieces of rope can be put into nets that are sold by the guild or manufactured by the guild. Yeah, I'm not quite sure yet who's running this, you know, like
I'm writing furiously over here.
I'm also reading Lutefisk with the magical effect of making the eater violently ill. JK Scuba. So that's one thought that I had.
I'm wondering about the material and where it comes from. Like perhaps there's hemp farms or some
Right.
kind of farm of very fibrous reed that can be stripped and then entangled and, spun.
Yeah. Hemp farm's pretty good too. I mean, it could have been the reeds were around the certain parts of the lake.
Yeah. Yeah.
That makes sense. Like what other natural resources could there be? And then maybe there's a couple of farm owners that decided to branch out into sheep farming so that there was a wool component. They were like, all right, we already have this natural fiber thing going. Let's expand that. So maybe the fabric and the textiles is a more recent development, but the rope was the more...
We also said earlier, Addie was saying about how when you come around the mountain pass, it would be interesting to see the hills dotted with sheep, that are utilized for harvesting for wool.
Love it.
Yeah. To that end, there would have to be a butcher shop.
Good point.
I mean, sheep get old. Right?
It's true.
Here at the butcher shop, you can get old sheep meat.
Old sheep meat. That's an NPC if I ever heard one.
Oh, that's
He's just
brilliant.
What's your name? Old sheep meat.
He just sits in the bar
brilliant.
all the time.
That's brilliant.
Like,
He's got
can't
an
get
apron.
off of his
He's got an
stool.
apron covered in butcher's blood, and he just kind of comes in at the end of the day for a cocktail.
like Roblo just dripping off of his shirt. Yeah. Just,
I do kind of love the idea, though, that like here in this like valley, the people of Pepperwick are growing and like are so like self-sustainable
Yeah.
with the sheep and the butcher shop and everything, and the fish as well, and all the farms and the forages. Like they are well and truly.
Well, can I offer up a little bit of reasoning for that?
Yeah.
Is, Pepperwick exists way down on this peninsula, right? And the most obvious route in to Afari in general was through the Bond of Gravenwich, which is the northernmost connector to the far continent. Not a lot of goods made their way down that far south to
Yeah.
you. So having sustainable communities was essential to survival. So that makes total sense to me.
Yeah.
All right, so I love this. We got some kind of connection to textiles and weaving. There's a mill,
yeah.
and I think there's probably...
I think
this
there's two mills. There's a mill that is typically used for like flour and all the things that normally would be done in a mill. But I think there's also a mill that was used to grind down the saltpeter, to grind the carbon down. That, like, let's not get away from the fact that mining, Pepperwick was the supplier of all of this. So that's, I think, all these other things that kind of came up around, that's still at its core, right?
Yeah.
So,
So maybe the textile we won't even call it an industry, but the textiles of Pepperwick are more on a boutique scale
yeah.
by craftspeople rather than like of an industrial scale where there's a huge mill associated with
Right,
it.
right.
You know, you might have some hand spinners that are carefully making rope, and rope is a thing that is highly sought after because of its high craft. It's probably a little more expensive because it's handmade, but it's also made all from local materials.
But also, that fibrous reed was probably really good for making actual wicks.
Oh my god. Yeah. The wicks.
So, like, the mill that grinds the gunpowder would also utilize some of the finer wick ropes from that place to embed with
Wicks
combustibles.
Wicks and fuses.
Yeah,
Right?
wicks and fuses.
And the other thing I was thinking of when you were saying that was it's possible that maybe there is a signature piece of clothing that the people of Pepperwick tend to wear because it's made by the craftspeople in this place. Whether that's a sweater or a coat, or I have a feeling it's coming.
Protective equipment, like heavy duty woven tunics or like aprons, bibs, long, like things that you would be able to utilize to protect yourself while you're casting metals or working with explosives.
Oh yeah.
You
Okay.
know, so it's like a thick,
Yeah, we're not talking about armor. We're talking
No.
more about work clothing.
something that's flexible but not combustible. Like maybe there's some kind of a treatment that they do to it to keep it fire retardant.
Well, yeah, there would be because they probably either put some kind of wax or, some other, what's the word I'm looking for? When we're thinking about like wax coating or oil impregnating.
Cloth, yeah.
Like an oilcloth. Yeah, exactly. Okay, good.
Which, to think about it, like it seems counterintuitive, but like oil or wax are both flammable. But when they're infused into a fabric, right?
Yeah.
Maybe there's like some kind of like a multi-layered quilted, like heavy-duty jackets or aprons.
Yeah,
and
because
things like that.
lanolin in a sheep's wool is not flammable
Right.
necessarily, but
Right.
it is an oil that is
Yeah.
a protector.
So maybe the byproduct of that is they figure out a way to get the lanolin out of that and
Yeah.
utilize that.
Yeah. All right,
That's
good.
cool.
This is great. Okay, cool. Garrett, what do you got?
I like what Monster's mother says about pink honey.
Wait, Monster's Money.
Big fluffy
There's
bumblebee.
huge fluffy bumblebees.
that make pink. Wait. That's fucking awesome.
Yeah, I kind of love that.
Just coughed up a lung.
Wait, let me pull up the chat. I gotta.
There's
check this out.
huge fluffy bumblebees that make pink honey. Can we work on this for a second?
Yeah,
What if?
an apiary. Pink honey
Well,
apiary.
you're gonna need wax. Pepperwick
For wicks.
is
Yeah.
gonna have.
So
You've
we
got
have,
farms.
and it's pink wax.
Oh yeah, maybe the pink honey makes pink wax.
Sure, why not?
All right, hold on a minute.
Yeah. Yo,
Like
the
I think
candles. Oh my god, the candles made out of that would smell so good.
Yeah,
like rose quartz.
like a rose quartz color pink, not like crazy hot,
No, not like
magenta
electric,
pink,
but
but like
like a
but like a subtle
soft,
like Himalayan sea
so
salt
it
pink.
glows. So like the quality of the light that comes from the candles from Pepperwick is like it's like 2,700 degrees Kelvin. It's super warm but soft and light.
Maybe that's
What?
That's
nuts.
such a lighting nerd thing. You just told us the temperature of the light.
Lighting nerd.
You just dated yourself with light.
That was brilliant. Wait, all right, so hold on a minute.
But it's inherently diffused light too because it's so soft and wax.
Right.
That's awesome.
Right, and the temperature spectrum just dips slightly outside of the normal range
Yeah.
of the visual field.
Right.
Therefore, we feel both mysterious and at ease, a sense of calm.
Yes.
One of the reasons for the pilgrimage.
I think there's so many different things that Pepperwick's got going on for it that are like, it's such a great, like,
Well, Addie said before, it's self-sustaining, so
Yeah.
you're going to have a lot of these things in place.
Yeah.
right.
And I think also like the idea of I love the fucking like dire bees that make pink honey is great.
I just added the word dire over my word bees.
I think that also as like a spiritual element is a super interesting idea, because the idea of this like pink honey could be an ingredient of some like wafer that is considered to
Yes.
be holy that
Yes.
you eat on the way to this heart, and dare I say, almost like the wax made from that. I don't know if wax is not used in incense, but I almost wonder if there's like a way to have like sticks of candles that are almost broken along the wick, so that you can hang a candle and light it from the bottom and then just have it come up. And then there are like little bits of incense that also start to burn and drop into a pail.
Well, wax would have a scent that would get, when the wax is warmed, you would smell it.
Yeah. I just really like the idea of like a bee-shaped sensor that someone has walking around that just emits like a
They
smoke
swing in the
that smells
smoke,
Well,
like
the
the
incense.
fucking...
That's what the beekeepers would use to fucking put the bees to sleep so they could get the honey, right?
Yeah, the smoker.
Have you guys ever seen medieval beekeepers?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's like my favorite outfit ever.
I know. No, they're brilliant. And I will say this really quickly, former beekeeper here. The hives are, anyone want beehives? I've got like, I don't know, 7 stacks of beehives and a honey separator and all that because I gave it up. But get this. So there's so much to know about the culture of bees. And I'm going to give you a very, very condensed version of this, okay? But about 90% of the beehive, and in any given starter beehive, you've got minimum 10,000 bees in a beehive, right? 90% of those bees are female. Now, we all know there's a queen bee, right? But did you know that the queen bee, when she deposits eggs into the cells, she predetermines the sex of the bee before she deposits that egg in there. And then, when those bees are cared for, depending on the food that they are fed, will determine the size and the gestation period of the bee that's going to come out of there. I'm going somewhere with this, I promise, right? So she can say the following eggs are going to be future queens, right? And the bees will actually begin to build queen cells. They're larger. They're meant to be spent a little more time in there. And she feeds them a version of her own excretions and honey called the royal jelly that infuses them with this like power. So what if our big fluffy bumblebees and our pink honey and our pink wax does have a royal jelly associated with it that has supernatural properties, like properties that could be imbue something with magic.
Rose quartz royal.
Perfect. Rose quartz royal. And it's the type of thing that, you know, there's not a lot of it. But when you get it, what are you laughing at?
Eric Glass just got me on a Dune level. That's so good. That's the origin of the Beanie Jesuits.
Oh my god! Benny Gesserit!
I fucking love that.
Oh
That was
my
awesome.
god.
Yeah, I love all
Brilliant.
of that. I would also add maybe the beehives naturally occurred on the little islands in the lake where the geysers are, so there's some kind of codependence on the geysers and the hives.
Some kind of symbiosis.
What
Yeah.
if
The
when a geyser...
bioluminescence from the
Wait,
geysers
wait.
might contribute to something about the
What?
fluffy bees.
Wait, what if sometimes when the geysers erupt, the bees have developed some form of like oil coat on their fluff that allows them to stop flying right before the geyser erupts, and the water from the geyser launches them into the air so they can fly farther and pollinate further.
This is crazy.
So they have like just mass fucking bee launches.
Monster's mother, you have created a monster in all of us. We're really running with your bees. This is great. Yes, I love that. All right, so this is cool. I think we should really have. I think we should really have some kind of established thing around the production of this honey, the production of this wax, how it relates, and we can get to that down the road. Listen, my intention, and I don't know if it'll actually play out this way, but my intention is, since Pepperwick is currently your home, this first adventure that you go on will take you somewhere, and you will return. Pepperwick will continue to grow and be added to by your adventures and evolve. And so these things that we're establishing now are only going to be enhanced by all of our storytelling. So, all right, Garrett, do you have...
I don't know if I can top the fucking bees, man.
I know.
Like, I don't know what to say.
That's a tough one. That's a tough one.
These are hard to top.
You guys are cooking so hard about these bees. I don't know.
It's okay.
Live your truth. Let your imagination run wild.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the thing that I was just kind of centered around was this idea of, I brought it up in the first session, the bazaar and just like kind of community and just these different stalls, which I guess could play into all this stuff that was being talked about.
That's
this
true.
Honey, this candles, this cloyther stuff, you know. I mean, we are on a main road, so there's got to be some kind of trading, right?
Well,
you know, you said I know you said we're pretty self-sustained, but
well, one thing I was going to add, and this goes to your bazaar, and it goes to this idea of a trade road or some kind of notion of passersby.
mm-hmm.
The pilgrimage as an event every year it's a big thing. It really does bring, you know, typically the pilgrims that come through here will only stay for 1 or 2 days.
Mm-hmm.
They would come in, they would set up an encampment like we had talked about down in the valley by, you know, overlooking the lake with the islands on it. They would set up camp. They would spend a day sort of moving about Pepperwick and enjoying it and spreading their word. They would stay into the evening, and the next morning they would break up camp and leave. So it's like more or less just 2 days of time.
And we talked about this. This is like just kind of one wave, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's not like, you know, a day, but broken up in waves.
Well, there's a period that the pilgrimage sort of exists formally, but then throughout the year there are the occasional people that walk the route, right, and for their own reasons. So it's not like you never see a pilgrim any other time of the year, but there's one big event when they all come.
In like through hiker, you know, terms, you have the bubble,
Yes.
and then you have some outliers that,
Correct.
you know, cycle through.
Correct.
But you have like the main group, and I know you said it grows as it goes
right.
up the route.
And I think it's safe to say that every merchant, whether at the bazaar or in the Fisherman's Guild or in, you know, in terms of farms that sell produce, there are connections that these people make to these pilgrims every year, and they see them over and over again. So there are people that have established rooms at the inn that they always want every year, and they reserve it the year before so that they know they're getting the same room. There are merchants that know that a certain person will be coming through town, and they have already saved for them provisioned lunches for the rest of their walk because they're like, oh, they love the way I do cheese, so I set up for them 12 boxes of, delicacies around cheese so that they can remember me. So there's all kinds of things like that go on.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I think that there's an element of all the different merchants in this bazaar and everything that they really look to this pilgrimage as like the high point of their commerce for the year. It's the most amount of influx they have of people coming through this space.
Right.
And so therefore it's their opportunity to have repeat customers because there are going to be people that are going to be devout and coming through this year after year after year. But there's also this ability to showcase the different things that have developed within Pepperwick over the centuries. And I think there's an aspect of like, because we've got so many different things brewing, it feels like to me that there are some types of ley lines in relation to Pepperwick. And that it's a convergent spot. It's a vortex of like a lot of different types of energies. And that's one of the reasons why it's a hot spot on this pilgrimage.
I think that is something we really should pursue.
And that also connects us to all these other different spots on Vesper.
Yeah, for sure. It would make total sense. Real quick, George Boswell is here. Howdy, Wither and Bloom friends. Been out of pocket for a while. Glad to be back. Welcome back.
Nice to have you.
Welcome back, Eric. Good to see you.
Good to see you, Buzz.
There's gotta be like at least one doomed situationship between a Pepperwick native and a pilgrim who comes by every year, and they have like one romantic night a year, and then it's just nothing afterwards.
Oh my God! All right, so there was this. I don't even know if we're talking about dating ourselves. I can't bring this movie up, but yes,
Like,
Yes.
I'm gonna title the movie in my notes to remind myself that you said this. What do you think that would look? I mean,
I think it would like.
Oh my God! No, I just got it.
Oh.
I just got it. What? Nope. You'll find out next week.
Yeah. Long distance doomed situationship.
A doomed situationship. That's so great.
Yes. Okay, beautiful. How are the minis coming? Can we get a check-in on the minis? Can we have a look?
I think I've backed away from.
Oh, I was gonna get you a wash.
Shadow wash.
Yes. The shadow wash. Yes.
To find your
Shadow. Who up shadowing?
I've pretty much stopped from where I was. Like, I felt like everything I did to it was starting to muddy it. So
It's very
that's kind of where I'm
detailed.
staying.
You have these two. You got a Nuln oil by Citadel.
Ooh.
Shake that. I can't tell if there's anything left. It doesn't sound like it's doing anything.
Shake it.
Shake
Here's a
it.
straight up brown wash.
Shake it like it's hot.
And
There's
here,
definitely something in brown wash.
here's a flesh wash that tends to be a subtler shadow maker, and that's all I have in this box. So any of those will be good.
I mean, working.
And you just brush this on?
So what you do is you want to apply it very liberally so that it kind of like falls into the cracks,
Okay.
right? And then you just want to let it settle. Then, once that's done and it's fully dried, you're going to dry brush back in some highlights. Okay, so what the shadow wash does is it kind of sinks in. It'll darken the figure a bit overall. But then you're just going to go back in and dry brush in some highlights here and there. But you'd be surprised how much depth it's going to add.
Cool.
practice in some of the fabric areas and stuff first,
Yeah.
but it'll really make a difference. So use a brush that's got some good bushy bristles and just let it drop on there.
Bushy bristles.
Bushy bristles.
He said bushy.
You can like put a huge puddle of it on the palette
Yeah.
and then draw that up into your brush. Like, don't be afraid to put like a big dot on there. Not more than that. You can get more than that. Yeah, there you go. And then if you get your brush and take a whole bunch in, it's like really suck it up.
Get up in there, baby.
Yep, and then just like lay that on. Don't be afraid to let it wash. That's why it's called a wash. You just want it to kind of like flow over it.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And you can see it drop down into the cracks. Well, I will say that I think we're at a pretty good point to start this adventure. I feel like we have got all kinds of really interesting intertwining backstory and bonds between the characters. We've really made a killer town. I'm so excited about Pepperway.
Dope shit. Love it.
And I think it's going to be a great place to revisit as a home base for these characters as different adventures unfold.
Yeah.
Does anybody have anything they want to add to this?
I have something I want to ask.
Mm-hmm.
Is there any possibility that we could get a teaser of what our first adventure might look like in this area?
Yes. Oh. Well, now that Garrett's like, yes. Sure, I can give you a teaser. I will say that this is going to be a very appropriately leveled adventure to start. So,
Kill a couple of goblins.
no. But I also, you know that I like to bring my adventures in with a really well-written narrative. Like, you know that I like to introduce the flavor of the space. So what I fear I'm going to do by giving you the teaser is I might send you away where you're kind of like not as enthusiastic because I don't want to dilute it. Okay. Let me think about how I want to say this.
Challenge yourself to deliver it in 3 words.
Wow. Yeah, like 3-word story, right?
Yeah, that was fully a joke, but if you want to take that and run with it, fucking go for it.
I don't know if I could. I don't know if that's even possible. Okay. So a couple of little teasers. 1. What will at first seem to be something extremely mundane, and I'm talking about roll your eyes, cliched mundane, is not only connected to something larger, obviously, as it should be, but I am taking a current, now situation that we all live amongst in our world right now, and I am transcribing it through symbolism into what's happening in this first adventure. And it will not at first appear to be a one-to-one. You won't be able to say, oh, this is that. It's not like that. I'll be able to tell you later, but there is a kind of... Gosh. I don't want to tell you what happens in the beginning of the adventure.
He says.
The chat is probably like, well, he doesn't know what he's doing. Problem is I know exactly what's happening, but any amount I give you, I will say this. You are going to be faced with a really, really bizarre an unseeming moral dilemma. Okay?
Oh no.
You are going to be faced with something that is going to make you question all sides of this argument, and you're not going to know which way to go. That's classic me.
Fuck,
It's so classic.
Yeah.
That is very classic me.
Starting off with it.
So much so that I won't give away what your adversary, should you encounter one or many, will be, but even the adversary is going to make you like, wait, what? What am I doing here?
Are we the bad guys?
Yeah, you'll ask yourself, am I on the right side of
God.
this or the wrong side of this?
All the time.
But here's the thing. Okay? I think the worst thing you could do is not take action. Okay? Because often, when we're faced with these moral dilemmas, the big question, often asked by Garrett, is why should we do anything at all? We'd just be better off not doing anything. Which,
Why are you gonna call me out like that,
well,
man?
you know what? Because you're right in catching me in that. So, because it's like, well, if I'm damned if I do, and I'm damned if I don't, I mean, maybe I just take myself out of the situation altogether and I don't have to make a decision. Okay. I suppose that's true of any adventure, but if we set out to play the game and we set out to tell the story, then let's just assume, in the spirit of that we have to do something, right? And see how it plays. Because one saying I live by, and this is your teaser, this is your teaser for the adventure. It is better to be decisive than to be right. How about that as the tagline for this adventure? It is better to be decisive than to be right. Because if you spend all your time thinking about what's the right decision, and you should spend some time thinking about that, but if you spend all your time thinking about that, you will fail.
Decision paralysis.
Decision paralysis, correct. You don't want that. You need to act. Your position as this pilgrimage, wary individual will pose an interesting perspective, for sure. Your position as the Watcher? As the Watcher, your bond fragment of the Watcher will pose a very interesting perspective. And I absolutely think that Bear's Bear's connection to the dream state and that calling will also produce a very interesting perspective. And I'm already finding ways through all of what you're doing to tie this all together. I know that was really vague, Eddie.
No, I like it.
As a teaser, but I'm trying not to reveal too many things.
I drive.
Good initiative, poor judgment. Wait, J.K. Scuba, was that like an assessment of yourself in these situations or the party? Yeah, so we'll see how that goes. All right, so we're coming up on 10 o'clock.
Shit, are we?
And it's probably time for us to look at these figures, see where we're at, and call it a night.
I feel pretty good.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Can we pull up Addie's camera? Oh yeah.
Nice.
Oh yeah. Oh my gosh. Oh my god, the shield is fantastic. Beautiful.
Well, 360-degree action. I think,
Nice.
honestly, this might be my best work with a mini so far.
Yeah, I would say so. That is just great. It's nice to be able to take the time, talk about the scenario, lock in, and just, spend some time painting the mini. Plus, this is the first time our table has had all painted minis for the first session.
I gotta give props. I gotta give credit where credit is due. I like the fact that you built in the painting session by giving us 2 session zeros, you made sure that we would all have painted minis.
I wasn't going into another camp, but thank you for that.
But
I do
I
appreciate
think that was great. I think it was a really good way to, and I like a lot. And I'm kind of worried that I'm gonna be upset about having to leave Pepperwick because I'm so wanting to just dive into Pepperwick a lot more.
You'll be able to.
No, I know that we'll come back, but like, I feel like we've done such a phenomenal job over these last 2 sessions of creating a place that is so. To me, it's like, oh man, I want to live in Pepperwick hardcore, dude.
Well, I was so pleased with our collaborative town building last time that the next morning, Wednesday morning after our session, I created a PDF and I said, okay, here's how we did this. And I put that PDF up on our website for free. So you can go download that as a process PDF on witherandbloomstudios.com. If you go to the merch, you'll find it in there. And it was called Collaborative Place Building. If you look at it, it's just step-by-step guide to do it. And it even talks about color palettes and how to feel it out, because we did that.
Yeah, that was great.
So
I think it definitely gave us all a lot of agency and brought us some fondness around Pepperwick that I think going into the game itself, we're all going to be protective of this area.
Yeah.
For some reason.
And my general feeling is that if you are really going to be invested in these characters, right, that you should build your home.
Yeah.
And you should build the familiarity around that. And that's going to lead to a deeper investment in these guys.
Yeah.
Garrett, you want to pop yours up over
I was
to...
gonna say I got a couple more.
Let's take a look at...
I got a couple more details in there since the last shot.
Let's look at Bear.
Oh my god, dude.
Oh my
A
god.
couple.
Oh, that's awesome.
You got to get a little closer.
Yep, stand by.
Standing by. Oh, dang.
I got a couple more details.
Once you get the shadow wash on that, it's going to be...
I still got to work on the shield, the boots, the base.
Look at the buckles, the brass.
That's amazing.
Gorgeous. Turn it around. Can we see the back? Can we see Bear's
Give it a
bottom?
back shot.
Give me the Bear bottom.
Oh, look at that.
the back shot.
Dude, the
broad
armor
shoulders.
looks so good.
Working on it.
Well done.
Working on it.
Well done. Your eyes are in
We're getting
great
there.
shape.
Yeah, we're getting there. Yeah, I can't wait for a wash on this thing because it's gonna fall into a lot of
All the
these
little armor
areas.
cracks and stuff?
Yeah.
You know what we'll do is next week when we come on for session 1,
Do
we'll
a
have a quick
final
little
shot,
final
yeah.
shot so we can see.
Yep. Yeah, I can't wait to do the shield because the shield has like this whole like crest in the center, and I want to get into like a lot of details and stuff on it.
Nice.
So
Nice. Eric, you want to show us yours?
Yeah, I mean, I'm still feeling like I like the color on it, but it's a little more muted than I thought. So I'm worried about a wash on it.
Okay.
Got it.
No, but I think that's okay. Listen, when you put the wash on it and the wash dries, you can come back in and dry brush in some highlights and really pop that thing.
Yeah.
So,
There it is.
there we go.
I'll say I don't.
That looks great.
Let's see if you took this home.
Garrett's giving out some wash. If you guys do want to take any paints for this week, grab them from my box or whatever.
I mean,
that's
this
totally
is
fine.
a blue shade.
Okay.
So like this is like a
I think
blue
you're good.
wash. I
Yeah.
don't know what this would do.
What do we got here
That was
from
the
Monsters
purple
and Miners?
base.
That sexy mini shot.
That's
Yeah,
a
I know.
blue.
It's like...
I have a black wash. You don't probably want that.
So now what we got to do is we really got to get our terrain game up and
Terrain
ready,
game.
which you know I will do. You know I will have that.
Yeah.
So listen, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to start to give our exit for tonight. I think we'll call it a night at this. So I want to thank everybody, first of all, for attending Session 0 Part 2. This is the first time we've ever done Session 0 in 2 parts. So Eric, thank you for your praise about the mini painting session. I think it was really a lot of fun. And next time I will sit back here and paint minis as well. Next week we begin the long rest, Session 1. Now, I'm thinking this is going to be a shorter, more digestible thing, right? So the long rest will be a couple of episodes, and then you're back to Pepperwick to see what happens. Allow time to move. But I'm hoping you'll come with us. Tell a friend that we're out here.
Tell a friend to tell a friend.
Tell a friend to tell a friend.
And they tell two friends, and they tell two friends, and then they tell two friends.
And so on. And so on.
And
Yes.
we're fucking old.
Yeah, we are. 'Cause
Nobody
no
else-
one gets.
no one
Eric
gets
Lasher
that.
might know
Might
what
get
that
that
is.
one,
But so if you have not yet voted for us in the Crit Awards, again, we were nominated for Best Studio Production for a Crit Award. There's a link to the Crit Awards voting form down in the description of this video. Please go there and vote for us. Also, like and subscribe to this channel and like this video. And thank you so much for all of you being here. I'm going to stop babbling right now. Nice job, everybody.
Yeah.
I really had a great time tonight.
rules.
Yeah,
Fun.
tonight was fun.
Yeah.
It was a chill sesh.
Chill Sesh. Next week's going to be awesome. Be there. We will talk to y'all soon. We love you guys. Take
Come
care.
find out more about the bees.
Yes,
The
fluffy
bees.
bees. Woo! Good night, everybody. Take care.